Congratulations. You found yourself in that strange part of the internet again, but it's okay, because you're here with us. My name is Chris. This is Gus. Welcome to the Death Taco podcast. And as you can see from the title, which is kind of vague and ambiguous,
planned,
we're here to talk about the 2015 film, The Witch. What do you think of that intro, bro? I think I'm getting better at it.
I think you're getting consistent. Yeah.
I think that's my thing. I think I'm going to stick with that. It's going to be around for a while.
Be like, this is also sponsored by Semen Wipes.
I should, bro. Contact them.
For real. Get yourself a plug.
Sake of argument, though, man. Let's get the shots out of the way.
All right. What is this again?
Crown Vanilla.
I was trying to smell it. Oh, yep.
Death Taco, the Death Taco, the Death Taco, the Death Taco,
It's getting a little salty in that bottle, I think, bro.
It's hot.
Really room temperature.
Yeah, like
That's how the pilgrims would have drank it.
put the shit into your armpit before you fucking pull it out.
But now, so I don't know where I got the idea to want to talk about this movie. I think, like, first and foremost, it was the idea of, like, colonial times and pilgrims and shit.
Oh, let me tweet you. Let me share your shit real quick. But go on.
But, so did you have any idea what this movie was, like, beforehand?
Honestly, no. I didn't know it even existed. But when you see witch in the title of the movie, you can assume that it's going to be one of, like, fucking 3 themes that they always do. You know, so you're like, it's going to be in the woods. It's going to be some sort of black magic, and people are going to get caught up in either the witch or become the witch type of shit. It's always the same.
It's a fair way to look at it. Mm-hmm. So, like, this particular genre is, like, my kryptonite.
Why?
Because of everything in the world. I've said it on multiple of these podcasts.
God
the
damn,
thing
Chris.
that, like, triggers me the hardest, bro, is the haggard woman.
But there wasn't even... Well, I guess there was some.
There was a couple.
Yeah, there was.
Mind you, they weren't, like, really crazy, though. Like, I've seen other movies, bro.
Yeah.
Like, I've got, like, a Mount Rushmore of, like, fucked up old ladies.
Oh, who's the top of there?
Insidious.
Oh, yeah. Have you seen It, the second one?
Yeah.
With the old lady when she pulls out and she's, like, naked and shit?
That one's not bad.
Oh, that was
It was, like, too CG. It wasn't practical enough
all
for
that
me.
shit CGI.
I know, but it was, like, over the top. Like, she looked, like, cartoony, like a Silent Hill fucking video game character. There's this movie called Lords of Salem that Rob Zombie did.
Oh, I wanted to see that, but I never got around to seeing it. I heard Rob Zombie makes really good movies.
Yeah, that one wasn't it. There's just a couple scenes that, like, stuck out to me that, like, fucked me up because, of course, it's also about witches. But, no, this movie, I remember when it was coming out, like, I wanted to talk about how there's, like, a certain narrative that comes out when, like, certain horror films that you can just, like, get a feeling like, oh, this is going to be different. This one's going to stand out.
Really?
Yeah, because think of, like, Hereditary. When Hereditary came out, that was a big fucking thing. Mm-hmm. And even further back when I was a kid, bro, when I'm, like, probably 8 years old, 28 weeks later, or 28 days later came out.
Oh, I saw that in theaters. That was such a disappointing movie.
I know, but it was hyped up and built to be, like,
I hated
this
the
life-changing
ending.
movie. Now I want to know why you hated 28 Days Later. Was it because they were English?
No, because they had the scrawny-ass white guy just murking everybody at the end.
Bro, Cillian Murphy? Or Gillian Murphy, whatever the fuck his
Get
name
the
is.
fuck out of here. He probably was like 120 pounds on his best day.
Bro, he's probably like 6'2", weighs 105 pounds.
Exactly. The win that we had last week would fucking blow him over. And he was out there just murking people like fucking Logan in the movie.
So that, because of that, fuck your movie.
Yeah, unbelievable. Like, okay, what is he fucking the Captain America serum? He gets injected with the virus, and now he's fucking just.
If you want to get technical with it, it's the end of the world. I'm assuming everybody's malnourished. Even the skinniest guy is on the same playing field as most dudes.
I guess.
Like, it's not like I'm showing up out of nowhere, well-fed and fucking jolly.
Just fucking
Come at me, bro.
Tackle him and just fucking destroy his whole pelvis. Like his whole body's just gone.
Just fucking punch him in his cock and watch it fly away.
He explodes.
But nah, dude, yeah, so, like, when this came out, I remember the trailer for it is the little girl playing peekaboo with the baby.
Yeah.
That's an effective scene.
I think the trailer gave away too much.
Yeah, the trailer showed the only, like, memorable things that happen.
Yeah, and trailers do that sometimes, and they fuck it up. And that's one of the things people have to learn how to do whenever they're cutting their trailer. They got to be vague enough to get people's interest, but not too giving where they give away a lot of the movie. Like, if you watch the movie, you watch the scenes that happen in the movie, and you're like, ah, shit, that was the best part. Or, oh, that was a good part. Well, they put that in the trailer. Like, I could have watched the trailer and got gist of the movie.
But nowadays, like, you know how they say we're a 5-second culture or some shit, or even less? Like, your attention spans.
I mean, that.
You gotta, like, pull people in.
Man, if they do that, they're gonna just go off of the wall type of shit, like American flags, guns, tanks, and shit, and be like, "Oh, by the way, we made a movie about a witch."
Do you remember when that movie Cloverfield came out?
I really liked that movie.
Do you remember the trailers for it though?
Yeah,
And it was like super duper, the complete opposite. What you're talking about, ambiguous.
I like that
Where it's,
because it made me think, "What is this about? What are they gonna be doing in the movie?" It's kind of like remember we were talking about Spider-Man yesterday? Mm-hmm. Like the way that they did the trailer, kind of But when you watch the movie, you're like, oh, it was nothing of what I expected. It was completely... I mean, it was a little bit of what I expected, but they did a lot of shit that I didn't think they would do.
So you like having your expectations subverted. Like,
No,
you're thinking it's going to be one thing, and then they pull the rug from under you.
No, because that's a double-edged sword. Mm-hmm. Because if you have your expectations too high and it doesn't meet it, you're going to hate it. Mm-hmm. And I think that's one of the things that also sucks. Where, like, for example, and I'll say it to be completely honest, when they made the Warcraft movie, I was like, oh, it's going to be legit. It was literally the story of Moses, but with World of Warcraft put in there. The trailer where you were like, oh, you know, is Arthur's going to be in there or anything? Nah, it was just Thrall and baby Thrall at the end. You were like, get the fuck out of here.
You got the fucking story of Moses from
Dude, if you watch,
I watched it.
If you watch it, that is the story of the way Thrall is the story of Moses.
Who is who in the? Okay, we're talking about the witch, but
Thrall
first break me down how World of Warcraft.
If you watch the World of Warcraft, Thrall in that movie is literally Moses.
And who is Thrall again? Like I saw the movie, but
the orc chief,
the main orc. Okay.
Yeah. The he's like a shaman and a warrior. But he can do magic type of shit. Like he leads the horde.
Yeah.
But anyway, in that movie, he's literally Moses. Like they just were like, well, the Bible did Moses. Let's just put Thrall in there.
And he's all like, "Let my people go" and shit.
No, he was still a baby. But you know, he was floating down the river in a basket, and some people found him and adopted him, and then he becomes him because he's getting trained by a different crew that what he was born into.
So I can see the vague similarities.
Dude. Yeah. Vanilla the next expansion is gonna be the Lich King. I'm gonna start playing World of Warcraft again.
Never played World of Warcraft.
Oh my god! If you get into a good expansion, it's so fun.
I'm a Skyrim guy for life.
I've never played Skyrim. Anyway, back to the movie.
Yes.
You got a subscriber or a follower? I heard the sound.
I did also. I didn't get a chance to see his name though.
Or she? Did you just assume their gender?
Let's be honest, bro. It's all dudes in here.
What is it?
My boy Phil Shamrock.
Phil Shamrock.
My boy producer Pedro's in the building.
Shout outs to Pedro, producer.
Cloverfield go hard.
It does.
Yeah, that shit go hard.
The second one was good too.
Cloverfield 2?
Mm-hmm. The Cloverfield Lane.
Is that the one with John Goodman?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I saw that. I didn't see the connection.
It's in the same world. It has literally the Cloverfield in the title.
I know, but it's the same universe. It's the same universe, but like they don't point that out until the very fucking end.
I mean, I guess it's literally in the title.
It's a good movie. I liked it.
It's a good movie. I like the ending though. I like where it's going. Like I want to see what happens in Houston.
Did you ever watch the other one they put on Netflix, the TV show or whatever?
No, I forgot all about it. But we're not talking about the movie that we actually watched.
I know. But so you told me yesterday you thought it was kind of slow.
It was very slow. When I watched this movie, I watched it Friday night. No, I watched it yesterday. I went to go change my tire at the dealer, and I watched it while I was there because I was there for like an hour. I finished it at home. But so I watched this movie, and are we just gonna go into it?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so I watched this movie. You see this young family at the beginning of the movie. They're getting thrown out of this settlement that they're in for X reason. I'm not gonna mention the reasons. The dad is like, "Oh well, fuck y'all. We're going home, or we're going out. We'll leave." So they go to this place. They settle. They're the only ones there, and they start getting a little weird. First and foremost, I think the thing that was kind of like they did it on purpose. They were praying in front of the land that they were going to go settle on. I was like, oh, now you know it's haunted, or now you know there's a fucking witch there, because they wouldn't have did that otherwise.
Yeah, so before you even did all that, I forgot we probably should have said, like, describe the movie vaguely.
I mean, you get the gist of it. It's a witch in the woods, and there's pilgrims.
So it's about, like, a family in, like, the 1600s.
In New England, and
New
it was
England.
colonial times, and it was before the Salem witch trials, and you know how all that went.
And they were, like,
Super religious.
They were the most generic pilgrims of all time. Like, they all looked like they hopped off a can of corn.
My dude was rocking those Supreme pilgrim clothes. You see that?
Fucking fire, dude.
Yeah, he had waves and everything. Took off his do-rag. It was fucking wavy in there.
Yeah. And it's about, like, a family they're exiled from their they call it a plantation.
Yeah.
Their little village. And they have to go live on, like, the edge of the woods. And, while they're out there, shenanigans happens. And that's more or less the plot of The Witch.
Yeah, so basically that's that is it. And then it becomes into this film where every time they venture 5 feet from where their house is, shit starts going wild. The woods or the witches or whatever the fuck it is in there is drawing them out one by one in a way, because that's kind of what it did. It was somehow, some way drawing them out. The little kids give away a lot of the plot. If you pay attention to what the little kids say, they give away so much of the fucking movie.
Yeah.
Like if you watch it the first time, you're like, oh, they're just little kids being little kids. And then you watch it again, you're like, these little kids gave away everything.
You could just chalk it up, though, like, in the moment, as I was watching it, I was like, man, these little kids are just, like, being really annoying little kids.
They're being little kids. But if you watch it again,
the subtext of it is they're actually, like, spitting fire.
Yeah, they're giving away the plot. Like, they literally gave you the ending of the movie when they started talking. You're like, okay. But the cool thing, though, is, like, there's a few scenes in here where the cinematography was amazing. One of the ones was when the witch ascends into the moon. Did you see that? Because I guess if you kill a baby, the backstory was in the lore that if you kill a baby that isn't baptized, you can fly as a witch now or some shit like that. But they showed this black shot of the moon, and then you slowly see the silhouette of the witch. Fire, you know.
We just got followed by the Crunchy Taco, who says, hello, my fellow long-lost brothers.
Hello, Crunchy Taco. That's an excellent
Dude,
name.
I respect that name.
Yes.
But yeah, so the scene where they go up, I don't know, dude. Every time someone was flying, I kind of got a little bit out of it.
Oh,
because,
at the end,
like,
that
green
fucking
screen,
made me crack up.
like as beautiful as the movie was, bro. As soon as the green screen came out, like, green screens can be used well, but if it's not,
I don't
like,
think that was green screen. I think that was just a shot at the moon, and then they just kind of like
maybe certain shots, but like when it's a close up on the chick, like at her shoulders, because
Yeah.
they can't show her boobs.
Oh yeah.
And she's like looking up, bro, and like she's ascending, but the background is moving, and she's still standing still. I'm like, oh, that's just a horribly,
yeah.
that's a horribly edited shot.
That whole scene was hilarious to me. They're just chilling, and all of a sudden, like they're like in like space, like they just hit zero gravity. They just
Someone
fucking
just hit the fucking button, dude.
yeah. They just start drifting off into the fucking woods, and then they're like, "How are these
They're
bitches
like,
gonna
arms
get
just
down?"
start fucking going like this.
Yeah. Imagine they're like push the button again. These bitches all drop.
Hey man, Satan could do that, all right.
I mean, I guess.
But now, before that even, bro, I was more confused about like why they initially got kicked out of their fucking village.
Probably.
Like, I listened to it, like they said word for word was he was found guilty of pride.
Well, that's what he confesses to at the end. But if you look throughout the movie, he's a very prideful man.
Yeah, but how does one get exiled for being prideful?
In those times, I don't know.
So
because pride goes, it's a lot of different cards in a deck.
Like, my thoughts on it, right, was that because my initial response to him getting thrown out, because the way he's talking to the guys.
Before you mention that, think about this though. When they were there, they didn't have as many kids as they did when they in the settlement. They only had a daughter when they were getting exiled. So think about that too.
I think they were all there. They just didn't have the kids with them at the room.
Nah.
They didn't. There wasn't a title card that said years later.
I mean, because they literally got there and they didn't build that many houses in 2 days.
That's true. So you think they were already kicked out?
No. What I think is that it time jumped without telling you that it time jumped.
That's a stretch.
Because think about it like this. They had twins that were walking.
He did build an entire house, and those kids would have taken a year at least.
Right. And when they showed up, they had to live out of the wagon for the longest. They didn't show any of that. They went from exiled, they got there, they prayed in front of the grass. Boom, they had 3 houses and a little farm and everything. And their kids were, the little boy was a baby if you saw it. And then the twins weren't there. All of a sudden, these twins are like 5 years old. So that shows you time went by.
Oh, okay. I didn't even like notice that. So it was just the girl and her little brother.
Yeah, because they were there and all of a sudden there was twins there. And I was like, where the fuck did these twins come from?
I would think they couldn't have been there years. Impossible. Because they planted crops and the crops immediately all didn't work out. They couldn't
Yeah, I
have.
mean, but that could be a shitty farm. But that's the
It
thing.
could've just been
It
a
didn't make
season.
I caught that. I don't know if that was a error or they just didn't notice it. But I was like, the timing jumps. Like, say that they showed up and they never jumped time, right? They got there, and then before the winter, they already had houses, and they had their land already plotted and everything, and then they had animals. Like the man just showed up and I was like, oh, this shit's already here. Cool.
I think we just chalk it up to this dude was like Bob the Builder, bro. He
And
was
he's
like
by himself.
He was like Fix It Felix from Wreck-It Ralph, bro. The motherfucker just went ding, and there was a
This
house.
motherfucker had hack codes. He just clicked one button, pressed $1, and he's good to go.
But no, I think these people were part of the Puritan society.
Yeah,
Like,
they're
'cause I
Puritans.
looked up this. So there's a difference between, there was 2 types of like religious people at this time in America. They all wanted to get away from like the Roman Catholic Church in England. So they come over this way, and there's Puritans and there's separatists. You've heard this shit in your history textbooks, and I was like, yo, this is boring as fuck. I didn't listen to it. But now in the context of this movie, so separatists are pretty much people who are like, you know what? We didn't like what the church was doing there. We're going to more or less do a similar thing over here on our under our own rule. But Puritans, they were like, no. You guys aren't going hard enough in the paint for God. We're going to fucking crank. We're going to turn up the volume. We're going to live very, very conservative, up the conservatism.
Right.
Throw thanks to
They're
Jesus and everything.
Like hardcore fundamentalists.
So they're like the Jehovah's Witness of colonial times.
Oh, okay.
And so these guys pretty much, this family, this dude in particular was like, you know what? You guys don't even go hard enough. You guys are soft. Like, think of it in context of like people who are really into hip hop.
Maybe that's where the pride came from, where he was like, well, you guys aren't loving Jesus as much as I do, type of shit.
I think that's what it was. So pretty much while I was watching the movie, the initial words that came out of my mouth as he was getting exiled for that was like, so this dad's pretty much like, you guys aren't turtly enough for the Turtle Club.
That makes sense. I didn't like that about the movie, that it didn't give you a lot of backstory. They're just like, get in there.
Yeah, and so let's just get right to the main question. The theory online is that, was there a witch or was it all in the girl's head?
Definitely not in the girl's head.
It was all 100% like a thing?
Yeah, because it's just like, okay, so what, is she hallucinating?
Possibly. She blacks out for everything that happens.
Yeah, but if that was the case, the perspective would be after the first couple of times, everything that happened would regress. But it didn't.
Maybe she was doing all the things while she was blacked out.
I mean, that could possibly be it. But then at that point, she's already part of the covenant type of thing. And maybe that's where the kids come in, where they're like, she's a witch. Maybe the movie didn't want to let you know that she was already doing that. She's being vague about it, or being, trying to like be like discreet about it. But that's the thing, though. Like, in my opinion, she's probably a witch since they got there, because the little kids were calling her out on it. And then she admitted to it when they were washing clothes.
Yeah, and because of like the movie does show you a witch doing witch things and fucked up stuff.
Yeah.
Like the first scene with the baby, I forgot about that completely, bro. That was aggressive. Where there's like a baby getting fucking felt up while it's naked. We saw a baby penis. Did you see it?
I was watching it on my phone.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I didn't see it either. And
Oh, yeah.
she like grinds it up and shit. And there's another scene where the little brother,
Snorts
where
it
he fucking butt chugs it, and the little brother like walks into a hut. And the theory with that is that she was dreaming it all up. That those were like fantasies she was having.
This movie reminded me, when I watched this movie, and then I watched the interview, and I think the interview made me think of a lot of things afterwards, where I was like, you know what? This movie tried to pull a fucking Inception. Like an Inception. Like, ever since Inception came out and they did it well, everybody's like, how can we incorporate that into our movie in a way? So they're like, let's just be as ooh, look at this, like, wipe on, wipe off magic trick type of shit, like that. Instead of being like, hey, yeah, this happened. And they try to, like, sprinkle in some mystery by making her black out. But what I think when I watch this movie is the plot could have been worked out a little bit better. They could have went about setting the world a little bit better. And I think when they did the movie, they were just like, the guy, like, honestly, even when you watch the interview for the guy, he's like, I don't really give a fuck about heart movies. So you could see his heart wasn't in it, but he's good. He's a good producer or director of movies. But he's just kind of like, fuck it, that works. Like, because there was parts of the movie where I was like, that's kind of lazy. Like, the way that this movie is progressing. Like for example, they showed him chopping wood, the dad chopping wood, like 5 fucking times. Like, this man had wood more than he had anything else.
I think they did all that to show, one, how mundane their lives were. Two,
Yeah, but you don't need to watch
was.
them fucking grovel and shit in the mud to see how bad their lives are. Like, it's shitty. They don't have Wi-Fi. They don't have running water.
Well, no, like, all these things are happening, right? But we're supposed to be acknowledging, like, yes, those things all seem very minor.
Don't you think that takes away from the plot of the movie? Because you're focusing your attention on how shitty their lives are instead of trying to figure out what's going on.
Well, like you said it yourself, this dude doesn't doesn't really care for horror films. That's not what he said.
But that's what I'm saying, though. Like, that hurts the movie in my eyes, because when I'm watching this movie, I'm like, okay, I'm watching it. I got my detective hat on, and I'm like, okay, what's going on? Let me piece it together, see who's who, and figure out what the fuck this movie's about. There's definitely a witch somewhere in here. I got to figure out, are these people going to fight the witch or join the witch or be like, oh, bamboozled, I'm a witch type of shit.
I think the focal point of the movie is about the pilgrimage and how they live their lives. And the background context is this horror story with the actual, like, witch and all this stuff going on in the background. I think up front he was trying to make a movie showing a pilgrimage.
I disagree with that. I think what he was trying to show how the Salem witch trials came to be. Because if you notice, like, they're really adamant about, are you a witch? Like, they interrogate her, and they hit on that, like if we go back to town and we tell them that this happened, they're gonna kill her for being a witch. Like, it's a serious crime at this time.
Yeah, like, that was also what I thought. That was, like, the grand message that I received from it, right? Because at that time with the Salem witch trials, there was a lot of young girls who were accused of being witches.
It was just women in general.
Yeah, women in general. And pretty much they would get finger pointed at them. There was, like,
for anything. Like,
unreasonable, like, expectations they had to meet to not be a witch that they couldn't do.
Have you watched the Simpsons Treehouse of Horror where they are, like, in the pilgrim times? And one of the other wives in the show is like, Marge's clothes is cleaner than mine. And then they're like, she's a witch. Just for the most random shit. Like, they could just spite you and be like, oh, she's a witch. Like, damn, that muffin was hidden. Witch.
Yeah, like, I looked up the actual Salem witch trials. Like, a lot of people on trials, it was mostly due to, like, petty feuds. Like, one lady's family was, like, suing this guy. So at, like, the fucking, like, little family courtroom meeting and shit, he was just like, you know what? That bitch over there, she's definitely a witch. The one that's suing you? Yeah, that one.
Yep.
Definitely a witch. Hung. No more fucking suing.
Yeah, but you see what I'm saying, though? It's just like, I don't like that chick. Free chance, I'm 50-50 to get her killed.
Or people were bored, bro. There was no entertainment at the time. This is the most exciting shit.
Think about it like this. You're living in a community where people are on edge because they're so Puritan that they don't get, like, the like you know, like, you could go out and do a lot of things to de-stress yourself. These people don't have that. They probably can't even have relations with their wives unless they're going to have a child. Because if not, they will, quote unquote, live in sin. So they don't even get that. They don't get jack shit other than chopping wood, apparently. That's their fucking big time thing.
Check it out. Beyond this. Okay, so just a quick little fucking, like, tidbit about Puritan society.
Yeah.
They were considered, like, the people to invent grandparents because their quality of life was above everybody else at the world at that time in the 1600s. And also on top of that, their literacy rate doubled or some shit. And the reason being that people were able to read and live longer lives was because they wanted their kids to read the Bible. That was their level of dedication to religion and shit.
Well, in the interview, the guy said that if you notice how they talk in this movie, it's very Old Englishy. And he says that a lot of Puritans because of the same thing. They wanted their kids to learn the Bible. They were very well versed in all the original language of back in the day, like Old English type ways of speaking.
Exactly. And something that I read about their society, right, is that yes, their life was dedicated to chopping wood, surviving, hunting, planting, all that shit. Also, but above even that was trying to read the subtext in their life if that they were living according to God, and if God would approve of what they're doing in this moment, what they weren't doing in that moment, if they're closer to Satan, right? So now imagine if somebody's like, hey, I think that girl is possessed by the devil. She's a witch. So now there's the subtext of like, holy fuck, there's really a devil. Like, are you really doing magic? Like, is God really here with us?
But see, that is the perfect segue from where religion over time has been more and more debunked. Not saying that it's not real, but like all the things that they believed in, like Galileo's time, or the things that they believed in the 1600s, or maybe even before then, when they were like, yeah, the Earth is flat, and they're like, oh no, it's not flat. Oh, blank is magic, and then they're like, oh no, this just like leprosy. They were like, oh, it's a curse. No, it's a skin condition. Mm-hmm. Oh, this person is like, for example, like the son could have been schizophrenic, and they're like, there's a demon inside of him. But like medical discoveries have realized or just showed that it's not a religious demon or monster getting at you. It's this person has a condition, and a lot of the things it's not being discredited, but it's being explained of what it truly is compared to just somebody's assumption because they don't know any better. And it's kind of like the scapegoat. We're like, well, if it's not good, then it's the devil. If it is good, then it's God. And they kind of like, they don't know, they don't have the resources or anything to know any better. They live out in the fucking woods. So they only can apply knowledge that they have. So everything is either the devil or God. Or if they're not hitting the things that they want to get, like say the crop is bad, they're not like, hey, you're just a shitty farmer. They're like, God doesn't love me. I'm not doing enough. They're not rational. They're just kind of like tunnel vision.
Well, yeah, dude, there's no internet. So like what they know is what they know.
They don't. The thing is that they're so secluded, and that's one of the things about humans, that we need to be in a community to thrive, because two heads work better than one.
Yeah.
So if they lived in their community, they would have had decent crops because somebody else that's a good farmer could have helped him. And that's kind of the things that the wife was bitching about. She was like, we should have never left. And the dad was prideful. He was like, nah, I can do this shit on myself. And that's where at the end of the movie, you see him like kind of realize, I fucked up.
That fucked me up in the movie, bro, where like the daughter's calling him out. The wife did call him out, but in the climax of the film,
because
bro,
she's
the daughter
absolutely
calls him
right.
out. She's like, listen, bro, you're a shitty farmer. You don't know how to hunt.
Exactly. And that's exactly the point.
But mind you, while she's going into that rant, the dude's standing next to this fucking structure that is arguably very fucking impressive. This house that he built from the fucking ground up.
Well, maybe he's just a good builder, but everything else he sucks at.
I'd have been like, listen here, you ungrateful whore. Look at that house you're sleeping in. It's got 2 stories.
Speaking of sleep, you know what threw me off? When they first started getting there, they were sleeping on the ground. When the mom was in her like feeling bad, they laid down in this big ass bed with pillows.
It was a pimped out bed with a canopy.
Yeah, and I was like, you see their pillows? They look like modern day pillows. I was like, they didn't have that type of pillow back in those 1600s.
And kids were sleeping in the attic on the floor.
Yeah, but they had a nice bed with pillows and a comforter, and I was like, bro, somebody and their staging fucked up.
The kids were all like whispering to each other, like, this motherfucker could have made bunk beds.
Yeah.
Sleeping bag.
But you see, that was one thing that I caught when they were sleeping. I was like, dude, this bed is like modern day.
I didn't even think about that. Yeah, he did like you decided Nebraska furniture, Mark.
You're right. But see, that's when I watch a movie, I catch shit like that.
Yeah. But so we were talking about like people being naive in that time and shit, not really understanding how to explain shit. So
I don't think they were being naive. I think they just didn't have the ability.
They couldn't process things.
Right. It's like if you tell, like, imagine, do you know this, like, when microwaves came out, people thought it was magic at churches. They were like, it's the devil.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, when microwaves came out because of the radio waves that it uses to heat up your food.
That's Satan heating that burrito.
Yeah. They were like, that's Satan's work right there. And then that's the thing, though, that I when I talk to people that are religious about it, I'm like, I hate how all religious people, have a scapegoat of God. Where something good happens, it was God's job. God did that. Something bad happens, God doesn't love me. Like, God is that invested that he's like, nah, not today, buddy.
That's how I feel about people who are generally try to be. This is gonna sound fucked up. Who generally try to be like positive 100% of the time, right? Mm-hmm. Upbeat, bubbly people. And the second that something goes wrong, all of a sudden they turn into like this blue fucking cartoon character, and I'm like, bro.
Like Doug's friend from remember that show, Doug?
I know what Doug is, but I like watch enough to know characters. But yeah, like in my head, I'm always like, just keep the same energy, bro.
And that I think is maybe a deep sign of a personality disorder.
Yeah, but that's what I was saying, like, parallel to you, like, religious people, like, when everything's good, it's
yeah,
like...
but the thing about it is, like, I don't like the unaccountability of it, where you're like, I like to take the losses and I like to take my wins as my work. Like, I don't like to be like, well, I studied my ass off, I did all this work, I got an A on my test, not chalk it up to, God got me an A on this test. Like, God came down, it's B, it's C, up, it's 42. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
And if I fuck up, God wasn't like, damn, oh, my bad, I got that wrong. Like, it wasn't, like, that's what I hate about the religion, is that they're so, like, scapegoaty. Like, when it's bad, it's God. When it's good, it's God. Like, it's never you. Like, you don't take any goddamn accountability. Mm-hmm. Can't you just say you fucked up? And that's what I don't like about it, where there's a lot of misdirection for accountability, where people can be like, well, it's not me, it's not my fault I'm fat, I'm just God made me fat. Like, nah, bro, you just don't know how to eat a proper diet.
Exactly.
Shots fired.
I call it God's plan.
Exactly. Drake, start dancing.
Nah, but I was gonna fucking like leapfrog into, do you believe in like, you just kind of answered it, you're not very religious.
I don't. Here's my take on all of it.
And like, also, do you believe in the devil and witches? But continue on.
Let me get back to that. So here's my whole take on it, and then I'm going to segue into something else here. This is about why I don't like horror movies and why, well, not why I don't like horror movies, but my opinion on horror movies. So I believe that when I was raised, I was Catholic. We were Catholic. We used to go to All Saints. And then one day when I was in Sunday school for First Communion, they were like, they had a house. My teachers had a house, and they're like, you're in your house. There was a church, I'm sorry. They're like, where would you be safe from demons, hypothetically? And I was like, well, at the church. They're like, no, you can't be safe there either. And I was like, well, what the fuck's the point of coming then if I'm not safe here or in my house? And they were like, oh, well, you know, chalked it up. And I was like, fuck that. I was like 10, 9, 11. I told my parents, I don't want to come here anymore. And you could ask my mom. She was like, why? And I was like, because this man told me this. If that's how it truly is, what the fuck am I doing here? I didn't say fuck, but what are we doing here? Mm-hmm. This is pointless. And then I started going to church with my grandma. She was a Methodist. And they would talk about all this, and it was cool. It was cool, but I think what it was more like a social thing for me, because it was a thing for me to do on Sundays that I liked it. I liked the people there, so I wasn't really too hard on the God thing, but it was still, yeah, it fit the niche. When I got older, I started realizing, I'm like, I don't think this is for me, and I blame that on this. I think my point about the scapegoat is harmful for people to believe that. I also think that a lot of people don't understand this the way that it is. Like, I think that they're interpreting the Bible. Everybody interprets it differently, in a different way. So I can't trust me and you read the Bible, we'll walk away with two different books. So that guy that's up there that doesn't have a GED or didn't go to college, doesn't understand English, is going to tell me how my world is supposed to be through God.
You just take shots at priests?
No, I take shots at everybody that preaches that doesn't have an education in it. Okay. Like, if this man is a high school fucking dropout, or he has a GED barely, how is he going to have comprehension better than me when I've graduated college?
It's fair.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like, if you go and guess a 5-year-old, hey, what does this page mean? You're like, it means this. He's fucking guessing. This guy's guessing, and the thing about it is, I don't trust the element of human in the church where it can be swayed by personal interest, lack of education, or political reasons, or whatever. So they're not giving me the full, clear passage reading. It's not, universal. It's like this guy thinks this guy thinks this guy's affected by this, so he inputs this because he wants this. So I'm like, I'm not dealing with that shit. Like, if I want to read about it, I'll read about it. I'll come up with my own conclusions. When I die, God's gonna hold me accountable. Whatever he does to anybody else, it doesn't fucking matter to me because I'm the one that's gonna have to go to heaven or hell. You know. Being that said, after I had those thoughts, I stopped going to church. Started thinking to myself, I'm like, I don't think the picture that we have in our heads of God is accurate. I think God is something else, but we're kind of like pushing him into this corner of what we want him to be and think he is when he may not be that. Hold on, before you go. The reason why I do believe there's something out there, because when I was in school in biology and chemistry, I was like, there's no fucking way this all just came to be. There is no way that this came to be. Like, everything has a purpose. Everything is a part of a system, and there's systems between systems of your life inside of you, and molecules and atoms that function and produce things like they're on a track, you know. And they don't go out and produce other things. Your blood doesn't turn into candy. Like, it turns into blood when your body produces blood. You know, it's always consistent because it's made with a purpose. So I'm like, there's something there that made us with intelligent design. Because it made systems. We're all a system with other systems inside of those systems to do other things. Your body sees a virus in it. It sends white blood cells to attack it. It doesn't just be like, you know what I mean? Your body sees food. It acts differently to whatever it is. If it's a liquid, it does this. If it's a food, it does this. If it's, you know, some sort of stimulant or whatever, a medicine, it takes it and it produces something with it. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Compared to just like, and that's the thing that people are like, creationists are like, well, shit just evolves into evolving. And I'm like, if that's the case, that would be, I mean, obviously this goes both ways, but that would be the gambler's biggest gamble in the universe of gambling, because you're saying that there was a cesspool, an organism had the perfect conditions, continuously, always had food. It didn't have any predators, didn't have any situations where nature just fucked it. Like, it always overcame to this point. You see what I'm saying? So if it was in the cesspool, it became an organism. It became whatever the fuck it became. I don't know the real thing of evolution. And then it became progressing into something that had no predators. It had no issues producing offspring. It had no issues with any sort of illness or anything like that. It had the perfect scenario all the way until it came out of the water. When it came out of the water, it came into land, didn't deal with anything at all whatsoever. It had perfect habitat, perfect food, perfect everything, all the way until this fucking modern day.
So you're telling me you don't fuck with evolution?
I don't think so either. I think that's also flawed.
But that's the context of what you're.
Yeah, but my thing is, like, I don't believe in any of that. I don't take anything from it. If you want to believe in it, go ahead. My thing is, I don't think we know what truly it is that we're looking for. So I think there's something there. There has to be something there. Mm-hmm. But I don't know if we're identifying it in the proper way. I think everything that we have as proper identification for it, quote unquote, is flawed, and it's not nowhere near close to what we're actually dealing with or kind of dealing with.
I fall on the side of, I side with evolution only because I don't know enough about it, and that just sounds like the most logical conclusion to me personally. Mm-hmm. But I hear you out, and I just want to ask you, like, because it sounds to me like you're agnostic.
I guess that'd be the way to call it.
Because agnostic means you don't, like you said, you don't necessarily believe the church we were raised with is the way shit happened, specifically bullet point by bullet point, but there is a higher power or something deeper. Right.
But I do fall back to, because all the years I've had religion in my life, that I do fall back on the Jesus Christ thing.
Well, I got giant crosses tattooed on my arm, so I'm in the same boat as you.
Like, but that's because that's what was engraved in me through all of these years. So it's like,
you're indoctrinated with it.
So. Right. So you don't, like, you can't really dodge it because it's part of your life. So you struggle with it, and you don't know which way to go a lot of the times. And that's kind of how I feel. But I'm like, I don't think we understand what it is truly out there. And I also don't think that we have the ability to question and ask the proper questions to be like this being or whatever the fuck it is at that point.
So I want to ask you a very, very, like, generic question.
Yeah.
There's a scale, right? A line right down the middle. Mm-hmm. Imagine a giant graph, a circle. One side, traditional God, aliens. Where are you falling? in terms of our creation?
I would say up towards
Straight in the middle?
No, not even that. I would say completely up and away from all of them, where it's something that we don't understand.
Well, no. Like I'm saying, if you had to guess, you only have these two options. God, aliens.
I wouldn't say that there is. I'm not saying that there isn't aliens out there. I'm sure there is life beings, but I would say neither. I wouldn't say that. Like, people have these fucking theories with, like, oh, this is a simulation, we live in the Matrix type of thing. Like, that's fine. Believe what you want to believe. I don't fall into the classical God picture, because I don't think we understand what God is. We're not that advanced. We can't even picture certain small things in our heads. We can't picture something that massive. We can't comprehend something that massive. If something everything that is literally around you and the way that you can even fucking think created all that, we can't capture in our minds even an inch of what that must be like. Mm-hmm. Aliens, though, I think that's a scapegoat to. There's so big of a universe out there that we are byproducts of something else, and I don't think that's fair, because that'd be like saying dogs thinking we're God, which is possible, but it's very unlikely. Mm-hmm. What I think is out there created the universe and everything in it, but it isn't something that I can just be like identifiable in words. Like, it's something that massive and something that beyond our words, our language, that we haven't nowhere near that.
Did I just hear you scoff at the simulation theory?
Yes.
You bastard.
Why would you think that's real?
It doesn't seem that unlikely to me.
Because you saw The Matrix?
No, just you've heard of the term like glitch in the Matrix, right? You see things that you can't explain.
I've seen videos on YouTube where they're glitch in the Matrix.
No, not videos that you've seen in terms of deja vu. Like, here's my thing that I've personally like kind of thought about. And like I said, I'm not hardcore, like we're for sure in a simulation or we're for sure in the Matrix movie, but like, for example, whenever you change jobs, right? Something that I've noticed, whenever you switch to a new occupation, you go to a new school, have you ever noticed that certain people have these characters that are similar to that of like an archetype, like an avatar almost?
Yeah, but that's just exactly like saying there's somebody in the world that looks just like you. That is... Well,
not just that. Like, there's always going to be, like, that old dude telling wily stories. There's always going to be
That's part of being a human, though, because we share characteristics. Like, you may not like Whataburger. I like Whataburger. Joe Schmo likes Whataburger. Joe Schmo after him doesn't like Whataburger.
No, like, literally, though, like, in a movie, there's, like, stereotypical, like, characteristics.
Yeah, but those are
literally, it's like their characteristics are the same, but their look is different.
Yeah, but that's stereotypes of where you are at a certain time and point in history.
I know, but it's just, for me personally, every time I've gone to a new job, there's always the thought who's going to bang everybody. There's always the fucking...
Right, but that's the thing, though. That doesn't apply universally in the world.
I know, that's why it just applies
so that right there would discredit it.
No, I know,
you can't,
in terms of myself.
What you're saying is true, you could apply it at any single different point of the world, and it would be exactly the same.
It could be. You just don't see it that way.
But other people don't have the opportunity to do so.
Certain people might not like even be looking for that thing, but you point it out and then they acknowledge like, oh, that is true.
I know, but that's kind of saying like the sun sets on everyone at some point in the given day. It's just bound to happen. Mm-hmm. Like, it's not a place for you to just be like, this is where this is the standard. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but no, that's just like one reason where I thought of like, because imagine like a computer simulation, instead of giving everybody very deep and thought out personalities.
Let's talk about that. So in the simulation theory, there is an assumption that a higher being than us has a computer program beyond our understanding that simulates us, quote unquote, like we were in the Sims video game.
Yes.
Kind of like Wreck-It Ralph. Oops.
Yeah.
So being that said, they are running a simulation program or playing a video game or whatever they call it in that dimension or time. And we are beings of AI.
Uh-huh.
Right? So when you die, you are a memory like you would be in a computer when some program gets deleted.
Yeah.
And then I'm guessing you're subscribing to the black hole information paradox.
Being?
Where nothing ever gets deleted out of the universe.
Just respawns.
No, not even that. So the black hole information paradox says you go into a black hole and you get stripped down to such a subatomic level that it's just like coding, I guess, per se. You know, but that's a cool theory. Stephen Hawking made it, where you can look at a piece of the black hole and be like, hey, look, there was Chris right there. Obviously, it doesn't say your name, Chris. It just shows, hey, this could have been a human. You'd have to know how to identify things. You know, nothing really gets discarded ever, which is cool. That's a cool theory to have, but they're all theories. I don't subscribe to the Matrix paradox, because if that would be the case, evolution would have happened a lot sooner. And it'd be like obviously we're assuming so many things at that point.
I mean, we're already assuming so many things.
No, but listen to me. You're assuming that a higher being is in control of the program. Our concept of time is not the same as their concept of time, because maybe like an hour goes by and eons go by in our world. You know what I mean? And usually this is me saying from playing video games, time doesn't work the same universally. Like, if their time was an hour, ours would have to be like 100 eons. Because they're not going to sit there and write out the same time as us. Like, you may not call it time, but the existence of that being to our existence of the being have to be uniform.
Well, think of it even flip, bro. We could be in fucking fast forward motion. Like, we could be on someone's computer right now and it's going forward. We're in the render phase and it's fucking going by the entire span of this fucking universe.
But think about this, though. You're applying what you know as the basis of this program. That can't be possible then. So that's how that theory is wrong. Because everything you're saying about it, you are taking literally from your understanding of computer and programming. There's nothing else there that would be from that high of a technology that you have injected into this story. Well, so that's why it's impossible. Like, even if it was possible, it would be vastly different than what you're explaining it to be. Because,
well, no. Mind you, I'm not living on a fucking mountain and dying for this.
No, but
what
that's why that's my problem with it. Where if it is true and these people believe these things, they can't apply their knowledge to it, because their knowledge is limited and they only can go up to the current software that we have in the current computing.
But you could say that for literally anything in the universe.
That's why I applied that same thought to what I was telling you earlier about my take on religion. On that, it's good to have religion in your life. I think it gives people a lot of purpose. I think a lot of people misunderstand religion. But my personal beliefs is there's something out there that we cannot understand.
Well, you remember how I asked you? I said, God, aliens. You never gave a direct answer.
Because I don't subscribe to either. Like, your idea of God is not my idea of God. So right. I can't say classical God. Because classical God is First Testament. You know?
Yeah.
And aliens is it could be whatever.
Well, God is just as vague as aliens.
I wouldn't say that, because aliens we've never really had an encounter, quote unquote, as a society.
Well, what does alien literally mean? We don't understand or know it. It's a foreign thing. It's foreign.
No, I was like, that doesn't mean we don't understand. It just means it's foreign.
Yes. Same thing. You could say God is an alien.
I mean, you could say that. You could say that about a lot of things.
So
you could say that. You could say, like, do you know anything about fucking
physics, bro? I don't know anything about physics.
Okay, so anything in physics is alien to you.
Correct, but that's what I'm saying.
But because it's alien to you, doesn't mean it's alien to everyone else. That's exactly my point of everything I'm saying. We all have limited knowledge on everything. So we can't, as a community, get together and be like, well, this is this and this, because we won't ever agree on it. We all have different knowledge, and all of our knowledge doesn't add up to shit. As a human society. If it was, we would have already figured it out. That's all. That stuff is beyond anything that we can rationalize. Say that the Matrix thing is real. Anything that is in that computer or program or whatever the fuck it is, it might not even be a computer. That's how advanced it may be. Is stuff that we can't even fathom the thought about it. We're still struggling to figure out how the fuck the fourth dimension is even plausible. And you're talking about something that's beyond all of that.
Yeah.
And you want to say that you understand it. That's ludicrous.
No, not that I understand it.
Well, other people say that they understand it.
Exactly. That's special. But fucking, like, I'm saying, imagine there's a pie. We went back to the pie theory. God, aliens. I just want to make a third slot for simulation theory. And that's just the one that I'm pointing at going like, that one sounds fun. That's the one that
it sounds fun. It's like you're writing a book and you're writing a really good story.
Because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter.
I mean, that's up to debate.
Like, if I'm going to, like, go out and tell people, like, no, this is the right one. Like, I'm not doing that.
No,
that'd be
of course
ridiculous.
not. You can't force anyone to have the same ideals as you.
I do, however, think that it's good to know all the possibilities.
I agree. I agree that it's good to be well informed, even if you think something is ludicrous. People that don't listen to everybody's opinion, even though they may not take that opinion, are missing out on information that they may have. Mm-hmm. Like, even if somebody says something that's completely out of the fucking wall, you might be like, damn, that one piece that he was talking about, maybe I can apply that to mine, or maybe I can investigate it and help myself. You know, that's why people, whenever they say there's no bad questions, that's a beautiful thing to say. Mm-hmm. Because if somebody has a question, you never know, it might spark something in you to question something else, or it might give you some insight or an idea or something, you know. And that's kind of the thing where a lot of modern day people feel stupid, where they're like, well, if I ask this question, I'm gonna feel dumb. And in reality, you never know your influence.
I would argue, I always tell people this because I've learned this as an adult and in like jobs and shit. Like, you look dumb if you don't know the answer and you pretend that you do, and you're just gonna figure it out.
Well, that's different. That's different. One thing is pretending you know something. The other thing is you asking a question to get.
Well, like
better.
you know, because there's some situations where like you're explaining something really quick in a job, and then they're like, "You follow?"
Well, that's just nervous. Nervous, and it's their first day. They don't want to look dumb. You don't want to leave a bad impression. There's a lot of different things that are going into there at that time. What I'm talking about is say that you're at a sort of meeting or something like that, and they ask, hey, how do you get your Elgato to work? Oh, you plug it in. Some people might be like, oh, so dumb. Other people will be like, oh, that's how you're doing it? I've been doing it wrong this whole time. Or, oh, you're using this cord. Oh, you see what I mean? Mm-hmm. Other people take it, and just because that person thinks it's a stupid-ass question, somebody else may have gotten some sort of insight without asking the same question because they never would have known to ask a question. That's what I'm saying. That's exactly my point. We all don't have the same starting point of knowledge. So we can't all have the same opinion and all be right. And there's some people that do believe in certain things, but they don't have the capacity to rationalize these questions. Other people may have, though, but without getting together where everybody just has their own takes on it. That's kind of where this movie goes, where the dad and the mom have this basis of religion where the other people may have had a different one, and because they don't sit there and talk about things to figure it out, they're like, I'm right, and there is no other answer. And you see the dad doing that. The dad is like, this is how we're going to do it. He never sits there and questions, wait, hold on, what's really going on here? And that's one of the things that I think the movie was weak on, where there was no stepping back and rationalizing things or analyzing things. They were just going.
Well, that's probably a more honest interpretation of how a man at that time period would have reacted.
I think it's an honest interpretation of how humans are in general.
I think that's a big generalization.
I think we're all like that to an extent.
So, like, nobody's a hear me out type of person?
I don't think there is people that are rational, but I think there's certain things where they're not rational. Like, say, for example, things that you don't want to...
Hold on. I got one. Like, people that try to argue that, like LGBTQ stuff, right? That's all cool and dandy. But then people try to throw, like, pedophiles into, like, the ring. Then the mass majority of people are going to go, like, whoa.
Wait, what?
The LGBTQ, there's like a certain branch that feel that like pedophiles, because of their sexual preferences, should be added to the alphabet.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And how are they dealing with that?
It's not going well for them.
I figured so. Thing about it, though, is that's a social, religious no-no.
That's an example, though, of some people, as soon as you say the word, chop the fucking arm off. Like, no, we're not even going to discuss this.
Yeah, but that's something that we as a human society have agreed, nah.
That's an example of what you're talking about, how there's certain issues even that...
Exactly. And that is one of the things I agree. Like, they shouldn't be. And that's a horrible thing for them to be doing. And they should probably be murdered or some shit. Because that's something that, unless you go and get help and you like, this is not the right thing to do, you shouldn't be doing that type of scenario.
On the subject of pedophiles, do you think the witch fucked the little boy?
No. I think
you don't think so?
I think she just possessed him with the
I don't know, dude.
Dude, because that dude would have came in eyes fucking. Because
Hold on.
the first witch was cute.
So the
he would have been in there. He would have had his pinky up in there.
The main character's little brother.
He would have been like, smell my finger to everybody.
They sneak off in the morning to go try to find like a rabbit to feed the family because he doesn't want his sister to get like sold. So they go and get a trap. They were gonna trade her for food. And,
that's what that meant?
Yeah.
Oh.
And so he's like, I'm gonna go find this rabbit. And on their little trek, something spooks the horse. They separate, and this little boy ends up stumbling upon a witch's hut. What I assume is a witch's hut. Because a very hot lady comes out of the hut. What do you think of the lady?
I'd go for it.
Right on. And she walks up to the little boy very seductively. And we've gotten little cues throughout the movie that this little boy's like peeking at his like sister's cleavage and shit.
Yeah, like he would definitely. That's the thing though. She knew that, and she acted on how she knows how she would get him.
Let's be fair. This is the 1600s, all right? There's no Pornhub in the 1600s.
There's no nothing.
That's right. You're only fapping to like.
He's not even getting that because it's sin. So he'd be like living in sin, and they're all brainwashed with that shit.
So like anytime his wiener got hard, he'd just like punch it down.
He'd be like against the rock.
But nah, so this witch comes up to him and she kisses him right on the mouth. And just lays one on the motherfucker.
And then somebody gave like another hand right around.
Then we see a hand revealed and she's got like an old lady's long, like 6-inch long fucking fingers and shit touched his head.
Yeah.
Cuts to black. We don't see the kid again for like a good 10 minutes, maybe 5 minutes.
Maybe like 15 minutes. He pops out of the woods in the rain.
He comes,
naked.
The next time we see him, he's in the rain, naked, frolicking, in my personal opinion. He's like grinding on a fence post and shit.
So, she blew his back out.
Like ass cheeks naked, bro. And they lay him on this like bed in the attic. He's got scratches. He's got like a bite mark on his face, right? On his lips.
I didn't even notice. I didn't.
And I just remember there's a part where he like wakes up, right? And his eyes are like...
That's fucking awesome.
That's right. And my thoughts were like, because he's like
smoking
whispering.
a cigarette. He's like, just give me like 20 minutes.
He's like, she drained my balls. She sucked me dry.
This is what it feels like.
But yeah, like immediately I assumed
running into the woods buck naked.
Like she banged this kid. That's what I thought. Because why else would he be naked?
Dude, it's a fucking movie. It's not like it's a historical document of what happened.
Okay, here's the facts. She kissed him. He was naked.
I wish they gave me a little bit more though. Like if they would have said the thing was that you see him in the woods and he's all fucking disoriented. They get him inside. He rambles off about seeing the glory of God or something like that, and then dies. Mm-hmm. So you don't really get much. So you're like either she possessed him because he threw up an apple, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah. So she either did some sort of witchcraft to him, whatever, a generic ass movie, and then they're like, oh, now he's dead because I honestly thought he was gonna explode. I was waiting for it.
His chest was gonna fucking...
No, just like blown up and shit like a bomb or some shit. That would have been cool. But it wasn't. It was just.
Wait, speaking of that scene though, dude, in general, like I was actually impressed with the kid's fucking acting chops.
Yeah, me too.
Dude, when he gives like the monologue,
that was a hell of a job.
That was fucking powerful, dude.
That was great. I will give him that. That was very, very well done.
When he sits up and he gives like the religious monologue and then he takes his last breath, bro. I was like,
that was amazing. That little kid is gonna be a dope little actor.
That was 5 years ago, bro. I wonder like what he's doing now.
Fucking.
Porno. But nah, I was even like out loud. I was like, that was fire.
Me too. I was like, damn, he did pretty good. He went above and beyond. He carried that. That was the best. That was the best piece of acting in that movie. Those 30 seconds, 40 seconds. Going down the road though, I think the characters. I think the father did a good job. I think the son did a great job. I think the mother was irrelevant. I think the kids were good. I think they were good, but they gave away too much. I think the Tomlin or whatever her name was, Thomason. Was a good cast. She looked the part, but I don't think they gave her enough of a script to work with.
She didn't really have anything to say.
Exactly. She was just like, oh.
She was kind of reacting to everything happening.
Yeah, exactly. It's like tourist vision. She was like, oh shit, oh no, oh shit.
She was just like a background character in a World Star video.
Exactly. It's what it felt like. Like she wasn't like, and this is the thing that I hate. Like, if you're gonna make a horror movie, you should make it from a person they weren't retarded back then, if you can say that word. They weren't like that. They weren't like, whoa, what's going on over there? Well, I can't understand what's going on over there. And they were just running into shit. Like, they could have been like, okay, let's sit down. This shit's not adding up. What do we think it is? Is it a bear or a wolf? What makes us believe that it is a wolf or a bear or a witch? Like, were they looking for tracks? There was no tracks. Okay. Maybe it wasn't a fucking wolf. Like, there was no investigation. Like, that's just me. Like, I try to push shit together and make a conclusion. They were just like willy nilly, like, fuck it. One of us goes out there. We'll go out there one at a time, running into the woods, And that's just what I hate about movies. That there's always no person that's like, all right, I'm gonna figure this shit out. Let's get some data. Mm-hmm. There's never a person like that in the movies. But a lot of people that are like that in real life. So it kills it for me. Where I'm like, why does nobody ever think? Or nobody ever, like, I understand it's like intense and shit like that, but there's got to be some point where you're like, these people have a moment to think and start to analyze shit and try to reason to figure out what really is going on.
I feel like this movie did okay in rationalizing why things developed the way they did.
They just guessed.
Well, no, I mean, like I said, in the context of the situation, 1600s fucking America. This dude was exiled. He can't turn to help from anybody.
That's not the point, though.
He doesn't want to go back to that plantation.
Yeah, but that's not the point of what I'm trying to make, though. What I'm saying is, like, okay, baby goes missing. They're like,
well, they talked about going to look for tracks for a couple of days.
Yeah, but how do they know it's a wolf? And then, even then, let's think about it. So she's playing peekaboo. Baby's gone. What is her first fucking thing she does? She gets up, runs straight into the woods. She doesn't turn around to look. She's not looking anywhere else. She just automatically assumes it's in the woods. Hey, motherfucker could have been behind her, and she would have ran right past him. Mm-hmm. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, and like to touch on your initial point in terms of it being a weak main character, right?
Yeah.
That's a problem with stories in general, I feel like, for the most part, because when you're telling a story, you got to have a narrator's perspective. She's the narrator, and the narrator can't do crazy, exciting shit because they have to we have to see it.
Let me hit you from
eyes.
left field here. This is my problem with horror movies and supernatural movies and demon movies and anything in that general, right? Let's assume, because we're already in the realm of it, the demon thing is real in these movies. There is never any opposition. There is never any shout out
MGG, my boy. Or girl.
Girl.
Let's just lean into a girl. Let's assume I don't have like a 100% male.
I think that's my girlfriend. I'm not sure. But anyway, so let's think about this. Let me take you on this ride. This world is set. There's demons, obviously. Satan is real, right? By default, that knowledge, God is real.
Yep.
There is never any opposition to what they're doing in any way, shape, or form. In any movie that you have ever seen that has demons, even like anything at all, there's never a predator above those predators or demons or whatever, right? So doesn't that make you like, to me, it discredits it because they never have any adversaries. They're just running wild and people are fucking with them and they're getting in a crew together, more of them. There's never like, they pull up and then all of a sudden there's like some sort of angel just fucking murking people. You know what I'm saying?
So you mean it's always one-sided? It's always
very one-sided. And the people are oblivious. They're just like fucking dumbling around trying to figure shit out or getting caught into it. The people that are already in the witches or demon crew, whatever, they are a little bit more of a backstory. But they're there for like backup. But there's never like for example, like the witches are there dancing in the woods and shit. You don't see like a fucking angel just pop up and just start murking bitches and be like, you want to join this shit? Is this what you want? You know what I'm saying? Like, there's never any adversary. There's no predators. It's kind of like the same problem that when there's no predators, these people fucking can do anything. You know, there's nothing to check them. And that's the problem that I have with all these movies. There's never any, like, there's always the fear of they're going to get us, but there's never like, we can go look for help with, or we can get these resources to combat. You know what I'm saying? It's always It's never like a fucking like a twisting thing. It's always like fucking one angle going at another angle.
Your woman said hello in the chat. She's not on there anymore.
Yeah, I see it.
Hello, woman.
But you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get what you're saying. So I think the problem is that there has been movies where that's happened. There's hold on, what the fuck's that movie? Legion. You seen that where they go to the diner He's
Yeah,
like,
but the
"There's
thing is,
demons
every
coming
time,
to kill a
even if they
baby."
did every movie except maybe Constantine, they make him so hands-offy, but they make everyone else so hands-on-y.
Because think
But
of
the
it.
thing, they're horror movies. But what I'm saying though is, there's never, unless it's a super religious film, there's not like you know what I mean? Like, there's like, you can play into that so well and make a good horror movie, but you're not playing into a whole world of ideas. You're just kind of like, everybody here, there's only one team, and the other team doesn't fuck with us, and we're gonna hold this little road as hard as we can for horror movies.
So listen. So I think that in the context of horror films, they want to incite a feeling of dread or hopelessness.
And you can do
Therefore,
that.
there
I
can't
think you
be-
can do that, but it takes a good writing a writing team to get to that point. I think what we're doing is, a lot of people are taking too many liberties, and they're just like, ain't nobody gonna question this shit. They just want to go watch a movie and be chill for a few hours and leave. Like, you're not writing works of art that are like, obviously they're not real, but you're not writing works of art that you're like, damn, you know what, that was interesting. Or maybe they would react differently if there was an apex predator out there above them. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, we got to get this shit going, because 2 hours from now, these motherfuckers are gonna show up and we're fucking murked. You know what I'm saying? Or somebody who's religious, like, they always die. What if somebody just, like, you know, like, say for example, like in what was that movie called? The fucking with The Omen. The little boy's acting wild and shit, and they're like, you know what? And they start praying. The fucking angel comes in and murks them. And they're like, oh well, roll credits. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, shit like that. Not every movie, but there's no fear in the other. They're the apex predator, and when they're there, they get lazy. And I think that's what happened with horror movies, because there's no adversity, and they're always on the top row. These demons and monsters and cults and everything. They just fuck it. That's good enough. You know what I mean? And success is I think is the worst defeat for anyone, where these movies are all just so used to having a free ride into the writing world, where they're like, yeah, well, we're the scary ones. We're the ones that are running shit. You know, they don't ever feel like they're in a hurry to do anything. They don't ever feel like they're like, yeah, like Paranormal Activity, I revert to it. It took them like fucking 50 years to get that set up. And then it was lackluster at best. You know what I'm saying? There's no like, oh, dude, this other region that they just got fucking taken out. You know, people are moving on us. We got to get shit rolling. You know, that would be a good movie, because there's urgency there, and there's the reason to make things move along faster. And when they fuck with people,
there's a formula that's proven. That's why they continue to do it, like you said, and it continues to make money.
exactly. But you know, that's great. But I think what's happening is they're pushing out too many movies that are the same fucking thing over time. And I think if they reflected on that, maybe there's avenues for different kind of movies. Now, I'm saying full out wars and shit like fucking Endgame, but like maybe a plot twist movie, like an Inception type of thing, where they're like, plot twist, they're actually the ones being hunted down, and it is a horror movie, but on their perspective. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, like I'm not gonna lie. I always say that I hate watching those like demonic movies, the video camera ones and shit about possession, because just like you said, I already know the ending is gonna suck dick for the main character. You never beat Satan is undefeated in the modern horror film.
Exactly.
And that is a frustrating thing. Like how you said, like I just want one movie. Like at the end of Paranormal Activity, when like everybody's getting swarmed by like these evil old witches or this invisible ghost demon, right? Like you said, like a fucking angel with like a 9-inch dick just boom, pops through the wall, bro, and just fucking like
Kool-Aid Man's him.
RKO's the fucking demon, bro.
The fucking Stone Cold music starts playing.
Yeah, and he just starts slamming beers with the main character. Credits. Like I want to see different shit too. Like don't get me wrong, because I say that. That's why I don't watch.
Do you understand where I'm coming from? Then?
I get the sentiment. Like I feel that sentiment. Nobody ever talks about it though. But yeah.
But that's how I see movies, and that's how I see the world. Like I see what's in front of me, but then I like see another world behind it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because even me, bro, when I go into horror movies, I never go into a horror movie going like, oh, this is going to be flawless, or I'm going to enjoy this. But in my head, I'm like, I'm going to nitpick the handful of scenes that I think are different or stand out. And that's all I'm looking for. And that's a problem.
And my thing in life is, I see it from the front. I want to get it at an angle too. I want that whole perspective of from the left side where nobody's fucking looking. You know, and that's maybe where, like, my friend told me I should write a book. But I was like, you know, that's what I want to, if I were ever a director or anything, I would want to get it from an angle nobody can fucking see. You know?
I can hear that. I'm trying to think of like a movie or story that's done that like well.
None. Constantine was the closest to it, but he was really incompetent and stubborn. Other than that, no. Legion, doesn't he fucking... I don't know. I haven't seen Legion in fucking forever.
Legion was about angels, and the angels were actually evil. They weren't demons.
That's
they were
right.
all angels. But now, like, okay, I'm going to ask you another question then, like, in terms of story. This is hard for me to even answer. Think of a movie or a story where the main character is the most interesting or well-developed
Including
character.
horror movies or no?
Any story.
Where the main character is what?
When the main character is very developed and interesting. More so even than, like...
Great Gatsby?
That's such a fucking random one to throw out, bro. What's the Great Gatsby? He's not the main character. Isn't it told through the POV of the girl?
No, those to the POV of Tobey Maguire, which is cousin to the girl that he's in love with.
Is he more interesting than Gatsby?
Oh, you're talking about
The main character, the narrator.
I thought Leonardo DiCaprio was the main character.
No, it's about Leonardo DiCaprio.
Oh, okay. I
but
guess that
it's
doesn't count.
Told
then.
through his eyes.
Okay, so you're talking about a movie where the main character is focused on, and he's the most interesting one in the movie.
Yes.
Okay, let me think. Sicario.
The main character is Emily Blunt.
Emily Blunt, yeah, and she's the most
She's
interesting
more
one.
interesting than fucking Del Toro, whatever the fuck his name is.
Yeah.
Benicio.
Yeah, because she's combating morality. Del Toro's just there to murk people.
Yeah.
He's like, fucking put him in front of me. Let me see him. Murk
So
him.
she has a cool arc at the beginning when the house blows up and shit.
Oh, the movie, I love that movie. No,
Yeah.
I think it's because you see her progression where she dips into, maybe this is the thing we should be doing, just murking motherfuckers. And then she's like, no, that's not what we're supposed to do. And then she combats it. Del Toro's just... what else?
That's a good example. Like, there was rare examples like that.
Yeah. Other movie like that, Wolf of Wall Street. Wolf of Wall Street. He's a very interesting character.
Oh, dude, that it's fire, yeah.
Yeah. What other movie is...
Goodfellas.
Yeah. I don't know if because there's just so many. Maybe like even Ocean's 11.
Never seen it.
Oh. Cars 2.
Like a Ralph son. But no, yeah, like, so it's hard, like, especially in horror movies when you're like
I
tied
think
to
it
something.
just shines signs of a well-written character. Mm-hmm. Not necessarily, but that's your point. When you make a main character, you want him to be the main story.
Right, but no, a lot of times what movies are doing, it's in particular horror movies, all the main character is a lens for us to see, like, oh, how can we scare them? And because of that, the main character is pretty much just an avatar, like you said, a reactionary fucking tool.
But instead of this person that you see them rationalize, and that's what I loved about Emily Blunt in that movie. She sat back and thought about what was going on around her and questioned, is this the way to do it? Am I wrong? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And then she saw everything going crazy around her. And that's what I like in a character, when they can actually sit back and question what's going on around them and develop into this person that they're becoming. Instead of just being like, ooh, every time they fucking something happens.
Speaking of reactionary, the GOAT.
What about
That was a terrible segue. The fucking Black Phillip
Dude,
goat.
this conversation's been...
I know. Do you think you could kill the goat with your bare hands?
Can you?
Yeah.
I don't think you can kill a goat that big with your bare hands.
I don't think so either.
Because that motherfucker had to like double grab him and he was still bucking.
Oh, yeah.
him.
There was a part where he wrestled the goat. I forgot about that.
Yeah, and I'm assuming that man was pretty strong. So that goat bucks him. He can get fucking ribs broken.
And also, what about the part at the end of the movie where the mom saw like her ghost children and she started letting like a crow peck on her titty?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. She was laying in bed and the dad got up. I think at that point the corruption was already in there. You know, like I think what happened is that one of them brought it into the house and then it just started to spread.
Do you believe in like inherent evil?
Well, what do you mean?
Like, that's kind of what this movie was almost. Like, it felt like this inherent, like, overcoming darkness. Kind of how you said there's never any contrast to it.
Yeah.
Like, but in this movie, you know, in this universe, apparently, you know, the soil died, their relationship soiled.
Oh, you think it's just like tainted land?
Yeah.
Do I believe in tainted land?
No, not tainted land, but evil in general. Like, or do you think there's just bad luck? People have bad fucking luck. Like, in terms of, like, so you said in terms of a higher power, you think there's a higher power.
Right.
Is there the opposite way, a lower power?
I don't know, because my higher power, a bit the way that I rationalize it, I don't know what it even is like. There's not a book that tells me how it worked out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like maybe the Bible is completely accurate. Maybe it's not. I don't know.
I don't know. Like taking my personal experiences. Again, there's only so much you could like go off of personal experiences, right?
Right.
Like this whole existence, for the most part, it feels to me like a series of choices and just positions you're kind of started out with.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because say if you were born in like the better part of town, right? You're not going to experience the lows that like we would experience down here in terms of things you're going to see.
Yeah, but you experience different things, though. You don't experience the same things, but you still experience things.
Yeah, but generally people in this area are going to see the same things I'm seeing.
Not necessarily.
And if I see a dead lady blacked out across the street from my mailbox, everybody's going to like drive up and down the street and see that, which
Yeah,
I
but-
just saw like 3 days ago.
But you can't say that. That would mean that everybody around you would be the same.
Well, no, just in terms of like an outlook. Like whether how you process that and what you make of that is dependent upon the person. But
I think that fractures into castes. Like, you know about the caste system?
Mm-hmm.
You know, like India has a monetary caste system. And China has a social caste system.
like peasant, monarchy.
Right.
and shit.
I think that there's mindsets, various mindsets in each bracket. Like upper middle class, lower middle class, poverty, wealthy, blah, 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 above there. You know, I think that they don't share the same complete ideas, and they are not like the ants where like it's a hive mentality, but I think they share a lot of characteristics and a lot of adversities. I think each one would share its own adversities, and some may dip down in others depending on their social their social relations and shit like that. And other people can move through rankings up and down. So there's people that have been up here and went down here, people that have been down there went up here. You know, so there's throughout all of the brackets there's fluid movement, except for the highest brackets where that's generational wealth that most people don't ever obtain.
yeah.
But I wouldn't say that because you went through something, somebody in Leewood has never felt that. You know, it's ludicrous to say that.
Yeah, but they would be considered more marginal, more
So say like this.
the outlier.
Say like this. We both went to Wyandotte, right?
Yeah.
So
No, I didn't go to school out here.
Okay, I'm sorry. So we both went to public school. I went to Wyandotte, and I went to Whittier, everything else like that. If my job started paying me $200,000 a year, I would live in Leewood. How are we different?
Explain that again.
So right now we both live in Wyandotte.
Yeah.
If my job offered me $200,000 salary next year, I move out to Leewood. I am now part of that bracket. We and you have the same experiences to an extent.
Yes.
That's my point.
Well, no, you could change the mindset. That's clear. But I'm saying that in general, my perception of good and evil is different than of someone of a higher caste system.
I don't know about that one, my guy.
That's what I'm referring to.
I don't know about that one because that's an extreme scenario where that person's parents and upbringing play a major role into it, because there's social norms that we accept, like pedophilia is wrong on any bracket anywhere you go. Obviously, people that are high up in the hierarchy don't feel that way with Jeffrey Epstein and all that shit, and the Playboy guy, Hugh Hefner, or whatever. But for the majority of normal people that aren't in those atmospheres, we all share the same values, yay or nay. Now, there's some people that do have different, like, for example, like some people have different ideas when it comes to gun violence, or different ideas when it comes to blank things, you know? But that is your personal interest coming out, not your social norm.
Even to break it down further, like I even thought of like a contradiction of what I said myself, right? So metaphorically speaking, I interpret this in music that I make also when I'm referring to the neighborhood and stuff. I feel like
I didn't say hi. Oops. Alex is watching.
she's gone. She's gone, bro. Pissed off as fuck at you.
Oh, well.
Like in my head, right? Metaphorically, I feel like this is hell almost. The bottom level. It gets lower clearly, but from my perspective and things I've seen, this is hell.
Okay.
However, a guy down the street lived the exact same life as me, right? He could glorify this. No. This is a beautiful place. I love it. Every single bit of it. So you are right in that aspect. I don't share the same shared perspective as my environment as everyone else.
Right.
So like just
Now-
even thinking about it, like I rationalize that in my head.
No, think about it like this. Say that you know how people, when they have those near-death experiences, their outlooks in life changes? Mm-hmm. That's why I'm a very firm believer that everybody should take a moment out of whenever they can a chance to step back in time or step back out of everything and just rationalize and think about what's going on. Mm-hmm. Like we never take a moment to step back and think about where their life is headed and what just happened. Imagine that you do that. You're like, I'm a lucky man compared to a lot of other people. You have your own house, you have a job, you have a family that loves you, you have a daughter, you have friendship, you have your podcast, and X amount of things. Mm-hmm. There's people in this world that have substantially more than you. And there's people substantially less than you. You know, the people that are under you are like, man, if I had that. Or somebody, I'll even make it simple. Somebody in a wheelchair might be like, man, if I could just walk. And you get to walk every day. Mm-hmm. You know, they're like, man, if I could just walk again, I would do this, this, and this, and this. And it brings me back to my point where there's potential that everybody sees in other people that they are like, man, I wish that they would take advantage of it. I wish they would, do something with it. And it's the same thing. Like you can walk every day. People that can't walk because they're paraplegics or they're disabled are like, man, I wish I could do that. And you take it for granted. And that's what it is. It's you're taking your life for granted. You're taking everything that you have for granted. You're so focused on, oh man, if I had this, I could be out in Leawood like them. And if I had money, you're not focusing on everything you do have. You're focusing on everything on you that you don't have. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And that's you're robbing yourself of joy that you already have sitting there. Like everything else will, like I was telling my buddy, me and him went to go watch Spider-Man. Me and my friend Marco. We pulled up to my house and my dad called us a little bit later. He's like, hey, his car is leaking oil. So I'm like, what? So then we get back to the house. It's leaking oil. So we parks his car and we take my car. While we're going there, he's like all fucking sad and bummed out. He's like, oh, I got to pay for this and I just paid for this. And I was like, think about it like this. Do you know what happened to your car? No. What if it's fucking free? What if it's something as simple as just the band didn't get put on the fucking filter? Or maybe the screw's loose, right? You go, they fix it, you put more oil in, you're done. Why are you acting like your car is about to get fucking towed and explode? And I'm like, your mind goes to the worst instead of going to the best. And like people say like, well, I think about the worst so I don't get disappointed. That's not a good way to live though.
That's me.
I know.
I'm a pessimist.
People are pessimists. And I'm not saying being an optimist is the way to be. But what I'm saying though is you should have a logical mindset about things where you're like, I don't know. Maybe I should wait to find out before I start feeling a certain type of way. You know what I mean?
Yeah, perfect parallel to that, bro. Like 2 months ago, right before I did a podcast, I hopped in my car. I was going to run to the gas station real quick, put the key in the ignition. Motherfucker's stuck. Yeah. Won't twist. I kind of got to finesse the wheel. Car turns on. Cool. Go to the gas station. Come back. Key won't. When I turn it off, the key won't come out. I'm like, oh, fuck. I got to really fuck with it for like a good 10 minutes. All right, it's out. The entire podcast, my energy, my soul, similar to your boy, bro, I got to pay. They're going to have to take out the whole steering wheel, figure out the ignition, Go up there. I'm still feeling like shit the next day. We just had to put some oil in it. It's got a little rusty. The $90 is the like minimum to get your car looked at. It was $94. They charged me $4 to squirt some fucking oil into it.
Could have probably had Alfred do it.
I know. Like how you said though, fucking.
Does that make you think about it? Does that make you think about it?
Like, I think that's impossible to like inherently just change. Like,
that's why I think people should sit back and reflect on it. Because think about it like this. Say that the worst case scenario happened. Your car fucking blew up, right? Worst case scenario, you have people around you that are willing to help you. You're not alone. And I think that's a default method a default mindset people have where they're like, I got to deal with all this. You're like, nah. Like, you got your brother-in-law who's a fucking mechanic. People around you will help you out. If you need a ride, you can call any one of us. We'll all offer you to give you a ride. You know, you're not like, oh fuck, nobody's gonna fuck with me. I'm dead. I'm screwed. I'm by myself. And it's not like that. And I think a lot of people go to the negative super fucking fast and hard. When I was telling him, I was like, bro, I'll give you a ride tomorrow. I ain't got shit to do. You just gotta wake up. We'll figure it out. And you know, if it's some money, it's okay. Money comes and goes. You know, if it's something that I need to take you to go do, I can spend my whole day fucking with it. you know. And I think that's where a lot of people don't realize, and they overlook a lot of things, and they're taking it for granted that you have people that care about you in your life. You have people that are willing to help you, and maybe things are a little shitty. Maybe you do got to replace your steering wheel, but it's not the end of the world.
I think that's a hard mindset because that's a childhood thing.
What do you mean?
Like, because I've been that way my entire life. Just a negative outlook on everything. Everything's worst case scenario, similar to how you said. Like, don't want to be disappointed.
Let me give you my mindset. Maybe to see if you can relate to it. I'll give you a scenario. Actually, it fucking happened to me yesterday. I take my friend Marco to my house so he can drop off his car. I drive my car. When we're going there, I hit a pothole. I'm like, oh shit, hit a pothole. Fuck. Okay. So we get to the movie. I talk to him about it. We watch the movie. It's a great movie. We go back home. And then we're waiting for Alex to go get Whataburger. I drive to Whataburger and come back. We're good. The next day, my tire has a warp in it because like I hit the pothole. I'm like, shit. Okay. So I call the dealer and they're like, yeah, we got the tire. It'll be $250, whatever. Okay. So I go there, pay it. Like, oh no, you have insurance. So it's $100. It's $120. And the lady's like, hey, your rim is bent a little bit. We can get that fixed for $100. Why don't you drive it for a little bit? If it waddles, bring it back. If it doesn't, then you're okay. I'm like, okay, cool. Like, I'm in the position where I'm okay with that. Like, I have to take care of it. I have to get it done. Other people would panic. I feel lucky that I can be like, okay, it's $120 or $140. It's fine. Here you go. I'm good to go. It's taken care of. I can leave. I don't stress out about it anymore. Is that because of my income level? Maybe it is because I don't have to worry about that. Is it because of my mentality is when shit happens like that, I don't stress out. When my fucking a month ago, I had to replace the same tire because I was going to recycle stuff for my job. I had it in the back of my car seat and I was driving down to the plant. I hit something or something hit my tire, clipped it, and it cut a little piece of it off. So it was like airing out. And I got there and I was like, oh, damn. But my default is not to get worried about things or not to stress out about things. Like, I don't get to that point. I'm like, what can I do to either stop the bleeding or to fix it? Or what are my options? That's where my mind goes first. It doesn't go to, oh, fuck, now I got to spend $100. Or, oh, what am I going to do? My whole day is ruined. It doesn't go to that. My mind goes to, what can I do to fix it or take care of it, stop the bleeding?
Were you like that before you had money, though?
I want to say yes. But I don't remember.
Because I think that's where mine is. I default to because I know that I'm check to check, terrible at saving. We do okay. You know, we have enough to get by. But, like, in terms of, like, when big shit happens...
But the majority of America is like that. Mm-hmm. But what I'm saying, though, is like you can't go back in time and prevent it from happening. If it happens, it happens. You got to deal with it regardless. So you can't just be like, well, rewind button. Now it's not happening anymore. You got to figure it out either way. But I think what I'm getting at is a lot of people default into we have to do this. Nobody's going to help us. We're fucked. We're on our own. Like, but it's not like that. Not everybody has that. Support system around them where somebody's like, yeah, I'll help you out. Yeah, I'll let you borrow some money. You know
what that's like telling somebody though?
What?
Say if like I had a guy in the room behind you right now and he pulls the curtain and like grabs you and goes, and to tell you, why did you jump? You don't need to jump. You know that nobody's going to hurt you. It's an inherent reaction. You can't tell people to not.
Right. And that's fair. And there's people that aren't on the same level. We're all in different worlds. That's why I say nobody shares the same experience as you. But what I'm saying is, like, if people take a step back and rationalize things, like,
with time, yes.
Is this serious? Like, there's things that are your life threatening. You're very serious. Your car's tire is fucked up. It's serious, but not as much as you would think. Are you dying? Type of thing. I think there's compartments where these things fit in, and people are just putting one compartment with everything, and everything's an extreme compared to. You know what? At the end of the day, it sucks. It's maybe I have to squeeze tighter. Maybe I have to fucking do some extra shit. But at least my family is not dead.
Yeah, like that's my gut reaction. But over time, I do get to what you're talking about, where I'm kind of like, you know what? Fuck it. It doesn't affect me into where it's gonna like drag me down, and I'm gonna turn into like the cartoon version of a sloth out of nowhere.
But that's what my thing is like, and that's I'm like, you know what? If all hell breaks loose. I can ask people for help, and some people may not have that, and that's there's exceptions to everything, But for the majority of it, I think a lot of people don't take a moment to be like, listen, it'll be okay. You know?
Yeah.
I think there's people that don't get that option, and that's what I'm getting at. There's people that get diagnosed with cancer where they're like, you got 5 months to live. You're like, there is no more okay. They have to rationalize that quickly and be like, I got to take advantage of my time.
That would be like the best like clarity you can get in your entire fucking life. All of a sudden, like,
But but think about it though. Everything does not fucking matter after that no more. You understand what's important in
exactly,
your life.
you understand what matters.
That's my point. You're like,
So you think you should have that mentality all the time, even without the cancer diagnosis?
I think you should consider that as, I'm not telling anybody what to think or feel, but I think you should consider that mindset, because then you realize things do suck. Things do happen that fucking suck, and things get tough for some people sometimes. But I think that mentality is a beautiful mentality, because you rationalize, yeah, it sucks. I don't have a car, or I have to spend $100, but I get to go see my wife and kids. You know, they're still there and they love me. There's people that don't get to say that. You know, we all had a great time yesterday. How many people don't get to do that?
That was a really good time.
But that's what I'm saying, though. Your people's perspectives are fucked up. And I think you're hyper-focusing on, oh, woe is me. Look at this fucking little thing that happened to me, instead of, it'll be all right. Worst case scenario, Marco's like, let me borrow $500. I'm like, okay, just pay me back whenever.
Yeah, that was my worst case. Like, Dad, let me hold $200 because I can cover the rest of it, but I'll get you back right away.
And then you're done.
And a lot of people don't have that, so.
And a lot of people don't have that. But we're talking about people that do. There's extremes on both ends. You know, but we're in the spectrum of things. Like, I'm talking about you individually. Some people may have different scenarios, and there are different solutions for those. Mm-hmm. But for you yourself, you're like, you're not alone. You're on an island. You know, so defaulting to that mindset where you're like, oh, fuck, and you're stressing out, like, it's not a good way to be.
That's just who I am at the soul, though. That's not changing.
But you can work on it. You know, think about it and rationalize and stop yourself. Maybe you can catch yourself from getting to that extreme.
Yeah. I haven't talked about this on here a lot, but like, so when my mom had me, she was kind of like going through it at the time. So she was like, you know, experimenting with different like depression medication and shit.
Yeah.
So I think like that kind of did something to me whenever I was born or some shit.
I don't know. I don't know how genetic it is.
I know, but like
or hereditary.
So I think like that kind of like carried over to me a little bit, because I've always kind of been like this like, you know, that movie with the different emotions in the kid's brain? The blue, red is mad, blue is sad. Yeah. I think my blue's always been a little bit bigger ever since I was a child.
Called Inside Out or some shit?
I think that's a porno.
Oh, is it? What was that movie called?
In and Out?
Yeah, no, that's a fucking
that's a restaurant.
Yeah. But I've seen it. I actually like that movie.
Yeah. Anyways, but like ever since I was a kid, I've got like very, very vivid memories of like other kids telling me like, dude, fucking cheer up. What the fuck's wrong with you? Why are you so down all the time? Why do you always look sad? Mm-hmm. And that's just like my default setting, I think. Mm. So like I said, I've always been Eeyore from Winnie the Pooh. Mm-hmm. So this like me now is my growth. Like that's still my default shit.
I think that is a mentality that comes with time. Because I wasn't thinking like this when I was your age.
I was. But then again,
you are your age. You're not my age yet.
How much older are you than me?
How old are you?
29.
I'm like 4 years older than you. Oh. You know, but even that, like, it's something you have to like work at. It doesn't just show up. You know, like I just had a long time to think about things, and I reflect. That's one of the things that I do. I sit down and I reflect. And I don't know if other people can do it, but what I do is like I have things running in my mind 24/7 when I'm not 24/7, but when I'm awake, I'll have something in the back burner cooking, and then I'll have my day to day, and then I'll have something. Oh, okay, I figured that out. You know, I'll just have things running in my mind. Mm-hmm. So I always have something going, and I'm always analyzing something while I'm doing my day to day or thinking about it or doing my job or whatever I have to do.
You strike me as someone who's like very confident and very like confident in your understanding of things.
There's a lot of shit that I don't know about. A lot of shit I don't know about.
Well, no, just like even when I was talking about like what do you call it? The fucking Matrix shit.
Yeah, but I've looked into that.
Very assured that like it was wrong.
Yeah, because I'm like
talking about how to handle like pessimistic, optimistic shit. Mm-hmm. You seem very affirmed in your beliefs.
I do. I believe what I say.
Correct. And see, where I feel like I'm barely coming into that. However, I'm definitely more flimsy. Like, I kind of want to hear everything.
But the thing about it is, like, I don't have a problem being wrong. I just want to be told why I'm wrong,
Listen,
not just
man.
be told I'm wrong.
Yeah, I feel like you're very confrontational about it.
If as long as you can give me a like, here's the thing. I don't like to be like my biggest thing with my parents. Like, I don't like to be told no, but I like to be told why no.
Yeah.
So if you're telling me don't touch the stove, I'm like, I don't like being told no. But if you tell me this is why I don't want you to touch the stove, oh, okay, I understand now. That's how I've been my whole life. So like, if you tell me no, I'll be like, you're just telling me because you don't want me to do it.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, I like that about you. That's cool as fuck to me because I feel like in my life I'm around a lot of people that kind of let me just ramble on, motorboat, and don't question like anything I'm saying. I like I like being challenged. I like seeing somebody else's perspective. So like, I respect that about you.
Yeah, thank you.
But I've just noticed that's like a quality you have. People, maybe somebody outside might be like, man, Gus just likes to hear himself talk.
Probably
Or something
do.
like that. And it's like, no, I kind of
Just
get
rambles.
it. But fucking, like I said, I like that about you. I think that's
Yeah.
why you make a good podcast guest.
Thank you. I think that's a double compliment.
Yeah.
No, and I want to be clear. Like, I don't have a problem being wrong. I just want to be told why I'm wrong, so I can sit back and, okay, this is where I fucked up. This is where I wasn't catching on. Oh, this is the insight that I didn't have. This is what I should have been thinking about. It's always an opportunity to learn for me. And you know, like, I when I'm at home, I spend 99% of my time in my room. My desk is my area. It's you know how people say that, like, their safe area? Mine isn't a safe area. Mine is I feel like a laboratory. Like, all of my stuff obviously is there. But like, I have books, I have my Pokemon cards that I finagle with. But in my mind, I have fucking like 8 things going on at the same time. So while I'm sitting there, I got my TV on, I'm watching something or listening to something. If I'm reading a book, I got my book here. I'm working on whatever I'm working on here, and I got I'm always theory crafting something in Pokemon, because I always want to find those new ideas type of
You
shit.
got to keep like one little fucking closet just for that.
Yeah, but my mom has told me that I've always been a person that always has something going on. Like, if I don't have something going on, I'll try this or jump onto this or something. Like, I'm always moving on to something or figuring something out or learning something, and I have that. And it's kind of weird, because I have, like, one of the weirdest things, whenever I get stoned, my brain slows down. I focus on one thing and I can think really clearly. All the fucking things that are moving stop, and I can just focus on each one at a time. Compared to they're always moving. Like, while we're talking, I'm thinking about something else, and I'm thinking about this, and I'm doing the other things in my head. But once I'm in my room, I can put everything into production. So I can work on this, figure this out, think about this, and that's the place where I can do all of that comfortably. I can't do it anywhere else. So when I'm there, I spend the most time there because it's quiet, and I can figure out a lot of shit and get through everything. And then I enjoy being there. It's my area. One of the things that I always will have is I will need to have, like my mom, I noticed it from her, we are people that we need to have our space that is solely our space, where we can, be only, not nobody can go in it, but a space where it's ours. Like, we need to have ownership of this space so we can confidently do our whole process there. Like, my mom has a room that she has like 4 fucking rooms, but she has rooms where she does her own thing and nobody else bothers her. I realize that I'm the same way, but my room is mine like that.
You just blew my mind, low-key.
What do you mean?
Because you saying that reminds me of how, like you said, you have your room that's your space, right? When I was growing up, from the age of birth until I was about 12, I think your girl agreed with me in the chat, by the way, when I was telling you about how I think your personality is.
I don't know. The kid doesn't timestamp it, but anyway.
No, but fucking when I was growing up, I didn't have my own bedroom. I always slept either with my parents or on the couch. I never had this like dedicated space that was my own. So when my parents came into a little more money, we got a bigger house, right? I had a bedroom now. Never fucking wanted to be in it because I never had that space.
Oh shit, I thought that was muted. That was good timing.
She said it again. Gus does like to hear himself talk.
Oh wow. I guess.
But nah, dude, yeah, like I never had that space.
And that's the end of this podcast.
And even like our bedroom here, bro, like I don't like just hanging out in the bedroom. I don't feel like there's any secular area that's my own. And even in like the context of this house, you know, I'm not going to get into the personal things of it, but I don't feel like it's necessarily mine. So like I've yet to really experience like having a space.
It's a beautiful thing because it's a space where you feel that you don't have to pretend to, you know, like, you don't have to pretend. You don't have to be like, I can wear my boxers there and be in my boxers and I'm perfectly fine. There's nobody else there but me. You know what I mean? Like, there's privacy there, I guess, if you really want it. But there's just the awareness from everything. And I have a personality where I don't like being around a ton of people. So I go to Walmart before it was 24 hours. I would go to Walmart 2 a.m. because there's nobody there. I enjoyed that awareness from everybody. I go to the mall. I'm like, fuck this. It's not that I'm claustrophobic or that I'm like anxious around other people. I don't want to be around people. You know, I don't have a problem being around them if I have to. I don't like being around people. I don't get like nervous or anything like that. I just don't want to be around them. And that's why I go out of my way to avoid going places that are super busy. Like, if I have to, I have to. I went to the mall the other day. I was like, fuck, but I got to. Sat in line for like 40 minutes. But I had to buy a gift, you know? So I don't have that issue, but I like being away from everything because when I'm away from everything, it gives me time to think.
I relate to that.
You know?
Yeah.
And then having a space where it feels like your little laboratory is what it feels like to me in my room. It feels like it's my little area where I can get things done in my brain. And I get a lot of things done. So I'll sit there and I'll read. I'll sit there and do whatever. But I feel the most comfortable in my life when I'm there.
Can you beat off outside of your room?
I don't know. It'd be like, why would I?
I don't know, dude. A restroom, living room.
Man, it's like taking
Car.
shit. I can just do that shit at home. Like, I'll wait till I get home if I have to do it. If it's that fucking big of a deal. That's the thing, too. Like, I don't like using public restrooms. I can pee anywhere, but I ain't doing anything else.
Dude, you did a perfect segue. Because I merchandised, I was in grocery stores and retail stores, right?
Yeah.
So when you got to go, bro, you got to go. It doesn't matter where the fuck you are. That's how I grew out of that. And because of that, I got a lot of, like, Walmart bathroom stories. And my favorite one, this is going to definitely end up being a clip. Fucking, I was playing with my phone in the restroom, right? Just sitting down, taking my sweet ass time, taking a deuce.
At work?
At work. And it's in the winter. And I remember it's the winter because I'm in there minding my own business. This dude, like, runs. I hear the door fucking kick
Hold on.
open.
Before you go, let me say one thing.
Go ahead.
If it's emergency time, I'll use the bathroom wherever. I'll just make sure I clean the seat before.
Do you use, like, the little
If I
paper?
can't, I will go above and beyond to be as comfortable as I can to not feel like I'm touching anything.
If there's, like, stains on the seat, can you use it?
No.
Like, permanent stains?
No.
Yeah.
Like, the reason why I say is because, like, at work that I've had, minus my current building, I've used the bathroom at least once. Minimum, not more than a few times, but at least once. Like, even at NFM, when I was there, I used the employee bathrooms way in the back. I used them once. Other than that, like, I will if I need to, emergency-wise. Like, one time I had to go really bad, and I used the bathroom at Quick Trip. But that was it.
I used the one down on Kansas Ave one time, and I had to step over an unconscious homeless man, like, down in by the factories and shit.
Oh, yeah.
Literally,
Well,
dude just laid out, like, legs across, like, the entrance. I had to kind of go, like, oh, fuck, he's going to grab me.
Like, I got to go, buddy. Listen, if you want to come in here, God bless you.
But no, I was saying, so the restroom story.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting in the stall, bro, playing with my phone, taking my time.
Yeah.
I hear someone fucking, like, action movie kick the fucking door open, like, to the restroom. Dude, like, comes into the stall right next to me. I hear him, like, fumbling with the lock. I can hear him breathing heavy. And it's wintertime. I remember this because he was, like, fucking with his zippers.
Oh, the coats?
Chucks his fucking coat on the ground, fucking playing with his belt. I'm like, man, it's really serious over there.
Yeah.
Whatever. I keep looking. And he's got his, like, his back to the door. I don't know why I remember that detail. And he fucking drops the pants, right? And I'm still kind of like, whatever. And then I hear him, like, hit the toilet finally. And, like, whoa, crazy shit's going on. I'm like, oh, you get it, bro. I look down on the floor next to my foot, bro. There's just a pile of shit on the ground about 2 inches away from my foot.
Oh.
So he didn't make it. He shit before his ass hit the toilet.
See, that's interesting. Like, how do you get to that point?
And I'm staring at this glob of dookie, bro, right next to my fucking foot.
Yeah.
With phone in hand. What's the next
Snap.
move?
Take a picture.
Would you have taken a picture?
Hell yeah, I would have.
See, I didn't because I was like in such shock. Then I was like, if I hit this button, it's going to make a sound. Knowing it wouldn't.
Just mute it.
I couldn't think that quick. I panicked. I'm just there staring at it, kind of like, this is like a derivative of my personality.
Yeah.
Just went into complete like fucking...
You just screamed super loud.
I just went into... I should have just screamed. I was like, you know what? I'm just going to be a spectator at this point. I'm going to be a spider on the wall and just see what happens. So I sat there for a couple minutes longer, right? And I got to see this dude drop down on a knee with some fucking toilet paper and start scraping it off the floor. As my foot is about right here. This pile is about right here.
Yeah.
This guy's literally reaching under, scooping his own
Good for
shit
him,
up.
though. Good for him.
Right. And yeah, so then I made sure to be done before he got out of the stall.
That's respectful.
Yeah.
You don't want to embarrass him more than, yeah, it is what it is. It's human nature.
But yeah, that's one of the hazards of using public restrooms, so I understand why you put it off.
Yeah, like, there's, sometimes you just don't get that luck. But I'm a very firm believer of, I will do that at home. In my own private area with my own time.
Your own humble abode.
Yeah, exactly. You know, most of the time I go in there, I have my phone, and I'm like fucking 2 minutes in, I'm done. I'm just in there for 15 minutes on my phone. Mm-hmm. You know, it's just human nature. But I've never had anything that crazy. I've had a lot of crazy shit happen to me, not in the bathroom. Mm-hmm. You know, like I've lived an interesting life.
Bro, I've got 3 stories of where like you know, when you're like coming out of the stall and you got to walk down kind of like a hall to get to the front door, or like it's a long row of stalls. So you know, to get to the sinks, you got to walk past the row of stalls.
Bro, one time I was at a club or a bar. I forgot where I was. It was a long time ago. I was in my early 20s, and there was like, I guess like 2 bathroom men and women, and they were from, I don't know what the fuck, the women's bathroom. I don't know how they fucked it up. They fucked it up, but you know how men have the long urine thingy, right?
Yeah.
So it's awkward for everybody. Bro, this chick went in there and peed in it. I was like, what the fuck?
Put her back on the wall and just started letting go.
Dude, I don't know how she's done that before. But I walked in there and I was like, what the fuck? And I was like, yeah, fuck this. I was like, that's my cue to get the fuck out of here and go home.
Nah, dude, I'd have walked in there and just been like, yeah.
Bro, this
like if she's that drunk, bro, she doesn't even know you exist.
She just needed to pee, but like I was like, all right, well, this is not what I expected on a Saturday night. So I was just like, yep, I'm gonna wait till this is over, then I'm gonna pee, and then I'm gonna get my ass out of here.
Shit, bro. One time at an IHOP on Shawnee Mission Parkway, me and this dude were walking to the restroom
By
together.
the Target in the Walmart?
No, it used to be. It's right off I-35 in Shawnee Mission
by
Parkway.
Kmart, or
Where it
Kmart
used to be. Yeah, it's not there anymore. Me and this dude were walking towards the restroom together, and I'm like hot on this dude's heels. We're like fucking 0.5 seconds apart.
Yeah.
We both like, he pushes the door open, I follow him behind him, and it's only when we both walk in there and the door shuts behind us that we realize it's a singles bathroom, and the toilet and like the little stand-up are like right next to each other. So there's this moment where me and this like old white dude just make eye contact, and I just go, I'll wait.
He's like, why wait?
Bro,
Winks at you.
oh, you don't got to go anywhere. Just unzips and sits down.
He's like, you got to go number 1, number 2. And he's like, you pick one. I'll stand or you stand. Then the whole time he's just looking at you like with this while you're fucking peeing.
Dude, I'm just fascinated with public restrooms. I just got a lot of like
you know
stories.
what? One thing that me and my friend Daniel used to do, we would go on Saturday nights when we were younger. We didn't have shit to do. We would go to Quick Trip at night, like around 8 p.m., 9 p.m., and stay there till like 1 in the morning. You would see the most crazy amount of things be in there. Like, it's such a great place that people watch. Like, you go get yourself a big Q, a hot dog or some food, and just chill out in the parking lot. Like, I would get sunflower seeds. We would just sit on the trunk of my car or his car and just watch people interact, in and out, get in and out. The people that you would see on Saturday nights at Quick Trip, it's a great people watching place. Like, the shit that you see, you're like, that lives in Kansas City. Mm-hmm. You know, there's a lot of places where you can do that. Like, even if you go to certain places, there's people watching is such a crazy thing.
You can do that in a Walmart, bro.
Walmart's kind of tough though, because you don't get to see everything. You got to go through. You got to get like a good vantage point. Quick Trip, you're sitting in the parking lot. You got a good parking spot. You see everything. You get what I mean?
I get it.
It's kind of like surreal things. Like I used to work at NFM during Christmas. Like seeing people run in on Christmas on Black Friday on NFM is you don't see that everywhere else. You know, you don't get that massive rush of people gunning it for the back where the electronics are. You know, there's just things that some people don't get to experience, and some people don't get the option or don't have the idea that, damn, that's pretty interesting to see happen.
You could argue that like anybody in the service industry sees shit like that though.
I mean, I don't think like Old Navy has a rush of people like that.
That's true. It's a little bit more high end.
It's high end.
Old Navy?
Get the fuck out of here.
Bigger than fucking Walmart.
Well, yeah, but it's not by much. Like I don't shop at Old Navy at all.
Or the Gap. Ralph Lauren?
No, maybe Ralph Lauren.
Listen, bro. It's what I think, okay? When I was a kid, when I was like in high school, right? I had a job at McDonald's at 14. And me and my boys used to always talk like, bro, how do we get into Walmart? What do we have? Whose dick do we have to suck to start working at Walmart? Like, we thought that was like the pinnacle because we had that, like you said, the caste system. We had that peasant mindset. Like, yo, if we just get to Walmart, I think we'll be good.
Dude, I'm saying that's a big thing for me. Telling people, like, there is potential in you that you don't see. And, you know, I think you're selling yourself short. Mm-hmm. You have no idea how many times I've had that conversation with different people. You know?
Yeah, I think that's something you outgrow, but it usually comes too late.
Nah, bro. People my age, people younger than me, they're still dealing with it. Like I could name off 5 people right now that I literally talked to in the last month about it. Mm-hmm. You know, like I don't know if I'm not saying that I'm like hyping people up, like I'm not a fucking hype man for like Little John. But what I'm telling you is like, even like my friend Marco, like I was like, bro, you can do this. You can go, because I asked him like, what are you going to do when, because he's getting some phlebotomy degree or some shit like that. I'm like, what are you going to do with this? Like, you got to get that money. You know, like, don't sell yourself short. If you can do this, that means you can do this. You can move on to another thing. You're not just boom, done. This is roll credits for my life. You know? And that's what I told him. And it's like the same thing that like other people that I like, you're selling yourself short, but just saying, this is what I am. Like, you can be more than that if you wanted to be more than that. Maybe it'll be hard, but you can go get more because you can. You're not retarded. You're not stupid. You're not crazy. You can go and do that. It'll be hard. It won't be easy, but you can get more. Just you know. And a lot of people don't see that potential in them.
Yeah, dude, it's definitely scary to come out of your comfort zone.
Yeah, for anybody.
Like, before doing this, bro, like, I never would have thought that I would be doing this shit. Bro, I was comfortable working my 9 to 5, coming home, just watching TV.
But
isn't
it so rewarding to have done it and being like, I could have did that. Why didn't I do that sooner?
Exactly. Like, there is like this thing, like, why the fuck wasn't I doing this 10 years ago?
But you see what I'm saying, though? And I think by people having conversations like this, they come out of that shell. Mm-hmm. Or maybe they just need, and this is what I was going to say. Remember when you were saying that your friends don't challenge you? I think your friends are not really your friends then if they're just agreeing with you. Mm-hmm. Like, one of the things that me and my best friend have is like, we'll tell each other exactly what it is. Like, he was talking to a girl like 4 or 5 years ago, and I was like, I don't think you should date her. He was like, why? And I told her why. Okay, cool. Cut it off. You know, like, he has something that I admire in him a lot. He has a really good judgment of character. You know, and if he's like, oh, I don't trust this dude. Okay, cool. I'm not fucking with you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I trust him. That's my boy. So when he told me something, it turned out to be true, and I was like, yeah, Mark was right. You know? And it's just, you know, like that, I think you don't need to have a lot of friends in your life, but you need to have good friends in your life. Or people that you can be like, hey, you know, what do you think about this? Remember what I was telling you last week about the advice thing for asking yourself, what would I say to Bella? Mm-hmm. It's kind of the same thing. Like, if you don't have a friend, this is what you got to do. But you should have friends in your life that are like, hey, you know what? You're fucking up, my dude. You got to get your shit together.
I think the way I like people is I got to have some type of admiration for you. And some people's skill just isn't speaking. Like, some people are just better. Like, some guys, like, I can...
Well, the thing about it is, like, your friends, like, it's like whenever you're up top, everybody's your friend. You know, when you're down low, and then it's when you see who your real friends are. Like, when you're young and you got all the girls and you got all the fucking popularity, everybody wants to be your fucking friend. But when you're down bad, you're like, hey man, listen, I need you to help me out. And they're like, oh, I can't do it, my dude. Oh, I can't help you out, my dude. And, you know, you start seeing who your true friends are, and then who's there just for benefit, and who's there because they really care about you, type of thing. And it's sad because you think everybody's your friend, you think everybody likes you, but then you realize, oh, this person just fucking with me because I got this or I have access to this type of thing.
Have you ever met someone who like genuinely doesn't like you and is like doesn't
No.
tell you, but you could feel it?
No.
Dude, that is such like I've been that way. Like I feel universally I get along with everyone. I feel like I leave good impressions on people.
I have never found nobody that hated me. I have people that I don't like I don't fuck with them, like, but I can be civil with them. You know what I mean? Like, I'm like there's people to this day that I see, not often but regularly, like, I don't fuck with you, but I'm like, hey, what's going on? I have nothing else to say to you,
have, like,
but I'm not
solid-
gonna be like, fuck you, I'm gonna see you in the parking lot type of shit.
Dude, I met one dude at work, right, who had such a vitriol for me that he you ever seen Diary of a Wimpy Kid?
No.
Well, there's this thing in that movie called the cheese touch, where when you touch the cheese, bro, nobody can fuck with you. Nobody sees you, you're invisible.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
And he pretty much played that game with me, like as a grown man, very recently.
I don't understand what you're saying to me.
So, he just pretended I didn't exist. He pretended I was invisible. Like we're playing a children's game where Gus is invisible.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, Gus.
You know how you overcome that? You just pretend like it's just a normal, regular ass day.
That's what I did.
Yeah.
Yeah. But like I said, in the moment when it happened, right? Because generally I've never met anybody who ever...
Not to go ahead. I'm sorry to cut you off.
But yeah, because that fucked up like my entire universe for like a while. Not in terms of like... it made me start like fucking examining like, but damn, am I doing something wrong? Like why does this dude think this way? Why does this? Like I don't get it. I've never been in this situation. It was such an alien concept, bro, that it just completely threw off my equilibrium. And then, like you said, I ended up just kind of like coming to terms with it. Like, well, you know what? This is this dude's problem. I'm going to go about my day. That's fine.
Yeah.
But at the moment, bro, for like a couple weeks, like, because me and this dude worked like sitting at like a fucking podium and shit right next to each other. It was weird as shit.
Yeah, that's mind games right there. They're trying to play. A lot of people play that in their relationships. But what I was gonna say is like I have people that I don't fucking like. There is people. Most of them I've encountered them like at work. Like there's one dude that I used to work with before I got my job, my promotion. He was the fucking bullshit. Like he just bullshits, and I'm like, listen, like if somebody's really honest or telling you the truth about things, and when people are bullshit, like you get that feeling, right? You can read through the bullshit. And I was like, bro, everybody may know you as so and so, but nah, I know you're full of shit. And I was like, my boss was like, hey, how was working out there? I was like, nah, it fucking sucked. And I told him exactly why I felt that way. And he was like, okay, I won't make you go out there anymore. I was like, cool, And I was like, if he tells him, I have no problem with him knowing. So I think he found out, and we and him don't talk. Like we'll be civil, like because we have to be civil. We're playing workplace politics now, or back then, and we're like, yep, how's he doing? Cool, we're done. There's people that I have that in my life where I'm like, hey, listen, cool, we're part of a team together. I have no interest in talking to you other than that. I don't like people that come off as like, I am this and this and this and this and this, and they're nothing. Like people that fucking fake it. Like nowadays, people are just like, I know so and so. I got this and I got this and I have this and I'm this and I'm like, if you have all that going on for you, why are you here?
Yeah.
Why are you here? He's like, I got my own business. I guess. Why are you here? You like making? What was he making? Like $14 an hour? Is that what you like to do? You got so much goddamn money, you need to make $14 an hour? Okay, right. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Like we're in the exact same situation right now. Everything you just said doesn't matter because we're right next to each other, and I'm doing none of that.
Mm-hmm. And that's there's I don't have a hatred for him. I just don't like that trait of his personality. Mm-hmm. If he got rid of it, I'd be cool with him. But it's just that like I don't dislike people. I dislike things about their personalities.
Yeah. Do you ever like examine your own flaws?
It's hard.
Bro, I know mine to the T. I've realized them like slowly that like something I do really bad is disingenuous greetings.
That's anybody though.
Like, but really fucking bad. Like when someone
you fucking hug them and dap them up.
Nah,
and
dude.
shit
Like even like in passing, like at work, because I'd been at the same job for like couple years now. So like, you know, when you're walking past, there's like 30 people. Yo, what's up? Hey, how you doing? How's your day going? Da da da. All this shit. I have like 3 responses.
You know what? You know what I have? I have this problem. I don't say hi to a lot of people because in my mind I'm thinking of something else, and I'm like, oh shit, I forgot to say hi to people.
Yeah.
I have that where I be like,
you don't acknowledge everybody.
Yeah, and it's not on purpose. I'm just thinking about something, and then I'm like, oh shit, I didn't say hi to nobody, and then I'm like, it's too late now. I can't do it now. It's over. The time for saying hello is already passed.
No. See, but there's that, which isn't good. But at the same time, what I do is you say, what's up? Hi, what's up, man? Or how's your day going? Same old shit. Same old shit. Another day. Whatever, right? Every now and then someone will throw a curveball in and there'll be like an extra part, like an extra little fucking adjective on it or some shit. And just what I say makes 0 sense and I got to stop and go like, wait, what the fuck?
Yeah, because you don't have a connection with those people. You're just
Right.
regurgitating, like going on a drive-thru menu. You're like, hey, welcome to McDonald's. Can I take your order?
Yeah.
You don't really give a fuck what the order is. You're just like,
I know, I just feel bad though, because like how you said, like how you want to grow, like I feel like
then what you should do is you should take time to ask them about them and get to know them. You know, if you really do care about their friendship like that, you should say like, hey, how was your weekend?
well, yeah, because like I said, I've been at the same job for years, so some of these people are like,
Do you know their names at least?
yeah,
So then you should be like, hey, name, how was your weekend? Oh, cool. Or like, you know, there's people that like, for example, like my positions in my past couple of jobs, I've had to be the person that's kind of in charge. So one of the things that I got really good at was breaking the ice with people. So I've had new employees come in, and even like my guys now, like I have no idea what their life is about, but I make, you know, a way to get to know them.
so interpersonal connections.
Yeah, and I want to be friends with all of them. You know, I do want to be friends with all of them, honestly. Am I gonna be like at their fucking child's birth when they have a child? Maybe not, but maybe I will be. But you know, I want to be at least aware and make them feel like they matter. So what I do, I'm like, hey, well, tell me about yourself, or I ask them questions, or I try to find bridges we can relate on for interests. You know what I mean? And you realize that you have a lot more in common with a lot of people than you would assume you do. You know, like one of my guys loves barbecuing. I love learning about barbecuing. So we talk about barbecuing. Another guy has, you know, like you never know. Each person is a whole different world that you're getting into that you know nothing about. You know, and that's kind of the thing that I was telling a friend of mine a long time ago. Well, maybe about a month ago. One of the newer guys. I was like, this world is worlds that you know nothing about, and you can venture into all these different worlds and learn about them, or you can just sit there and not learn shit and just be a piece of shit all the rest of your life. And I was like, you know, you can take time and maybe you meet my friend, and you like, he's not gonna teach me shit. He's probably just a fucking normal as me. But then you realize, oh, this dude knows blank. He knows a lot about it. Oh yeah, he's such an interesting guy. And then you don't know how that goes, you know? Maybe you become making a podcast with him. You never know because you're not getting to know anyone. You're assuming who they are before you even give them a chance. And then you don't kind of figure out their personalities.
It's so weird how relationships work, bro. Because just in terms of you being in this chair, like, if we had first met, would you ever think we'd be in this situation?
Now, when I first met you, I didn't know how the dynamics of you and Denise were going. So I was like, I'm going to be, hey, how you doing? And then kind of like, yeah. And then like most of the time, like I said, when I'm around, I'm in my own mind half the time. So I'm not really like fully paying attention to everything. So I'm mostly quiet. And then like when I'm not fucking all in there, I'll talk and stuff. But I think that's my defect, where I just like gray out and I'm thinking of something else.
Yeah, I think that comes back to my fault. Because even when I met you, like, I'm the kind of person where I don't speak a lot if I feel like I'm not going to invest a lot into a conversation. I'm not really good at small talk.
Yeah, most people aren't.
So that's why I choose to kind of keep things brief, just stay to myself. I got to be really comfortable around people to kind of come out of my shell.
I think we're a hard family to adjust to. I think we're not a hateful family. We're just we all have been around each other for so long that adding another person takes a little time, you know? And then once you're in there, we got you. But it takes a little, you don't just day one you're in, you know, we got to work you in and understand you, you know, because you didn't grow up with us. So you don't know what it's like to be like remember yesterday you were like the hand gesture thing. I'm like, yeah, we all do that.
Yeah.
But you're on the inside coming in, so now you're understanding that's just a normal part of how we are. Other people might see that like, God damn, that must be like maybe like hostile. You know what I mean?
I will say though, like, yeah, it was like that with the younger cousins, like you and Alex and Liz and stuff. That took a while for you guys to warm up, but like your aunts and uncles and your parents, even they were very. I feel like they took to me very quickly, and I felt like warm, like welcomed.
Yeah, it's because they also have a different relationship with you.
Yeah.
Like they see you as a person, and they want you to feel welcome. We're gonna develop a friendship with you, and that takes time because we got to figure out the complexities of how that works out, find out what they have in common, and I think that's what it is.
Yeah, yeah.
Because nobody was like, "Why is he here?" type of thing. People were just like, "Do you know anything about him? Like, what is he into?" type of shit. We would ask Denise, because it's awkward to be like, "So, Chris, tell me about yourself." Fucking day one, it's
Like a
weird.
job interview
Yeah,
and
it's like a
shit?
job interview. We don't want you to feel awkward. But even like Liz, she brings her friends, or when she brought her boyfriend, nobody was like mean to him. People were just like, "Oh, what are you into?" Oh, everybody was like welcoming, but we weren't like we were really waiting for Denise to Lion King you to us type of thing.
She's not very good at that.
Right now, that's why it took forever.
Yeah.
And even like when Lizzie brought her boyfriend, we were like, "You gotta like Lion King and show him to us," type of thing. We can't
You know how I introduced Denise to my parents? I always remember this because I thought of this line like weeks in advance.
Wow.
She walks in the front door. She's next to me. Mom and Dad are right here, and I was like, "Mom, Dad, this is my woman. This is my mom and my dad," and that was my intro.
I mean, it's effective.
It's effective.
Yeah. But
My toxic masculinity.
yeah, being a penis man, a penis having man. But does that make sense?
Yeah, I get you.
It's not like anybody. We're not a hateful family. We have our squabbles between each other, or our could be squabbles that just turn into weird bullshit.
My mom's family, they've got like she had like 13 brothers and sisters.
Holy shit.
My dad's side, he had like 5 brothers. I've got like 50 something first cousins.
Jesus
so
Christ.
like I understand the dynamics of like
Oh, we're a very small family.
yes. So like, but I've seen everything with families.
Yeah.
I'm not really close to anybody. I kind of stay to myself on my own little island. My mom was one of the youngest children, so because of that, I don't have a very good relationship with. I never had a really close relationship with the grandparents. When you're number 40, 41, it's not that exciting anymore. But because of that, like, I've really taken to your guys' family.
Yeah.
Because like I don't have that like tight knit feeling like all around.
Yeah, we're so small that it is. And we all have like we don't see each other every day, but we all if you call them, people will react.
No, but that's why like last night for me was like really cool. Like that was really nice for me.
It was done for everybody.
I know.
It's been a while since we all did stuff like that. I mean, obviously we did Thanksgiving. We're about to do Christmas. It was New Year's after that.
But no, I want to go ahead and jump back into the topics. So we finished the movie clearly like fucking 50 minutes ago.
There's not much there.
No, I mean, I feel like we danced around topics around it for about a good hour.
I just take away takes on it, like finishing takes on it. I think it was a cool idea that was half-assed. The guy clearly doesn't have his heart into horror. I think he is a good director, though. I think he has a lot of potential, and I think that if he would have had like a partner that would have helped him create something better, it would have been maybe not an hour and a half long, maybe about 2 hours or so, but it would have been a greater movie.
I think that generally it's a well-received movie. I think a lot of people think it's a good horror film.
Okay.
I'll look that up just to make sure, but I'm fairly certain like it's
Like
well-received.
A 0 on Rotten Tomatoes.
And,
You're like, oh, never mind now.
take that back.
Oh, did I say great? I meant grape, as in the fruit.
90% Rotten Tomatoes, man.
Yeah, but I don't go off of other people's opinions like that.
Exactly, but like generally.
Actually, I lie. Like, I'll look at it and be like, oh, it's probably shitty. I should probably watch it.
Well, that doesn't have to sway your opinion, but you do have to have an understanding of how the world received it outside of yourself.
Yeah.
And I agree with you. I don't think it was this flawless horror film. But I do think the atmosphere, clearly we both said that. We both enjoyed the atmosphere.
Yes. I had moments that I did enjoy this movie.
There was some great shock imagery in it. Being like when the
All right,
woman's sitting on the
shocking.
rock, when the fucking crow's biting on her titty because she thought she was breastfeeding a baby.
That was cool.
Or
I think the best part for me in the movie was literally when the witch killed the baby, whatever, and then ascended into the moon. Like you can see her flying into the moon. That was a good fucking shot.
that was actually clean as fuck. I remember that.
That was
cool.
a good shot. I was like, holy fuck, the guy knows what he's doing, and then it didn't really turn into that.
But there's little things. Like I watched a couple reviews after the fact just to kind of like see if there was things that I missed.
You know what fucked it up for me? The last scene when they all kind of just take off zero gravity. I'm like, what the fuck are they doing?
Yeah, it did look like you said it best when somebody hit the button and they all just started
Just start fucking flying in there. I was laughing too. The girl was laughing. I was laughing. Mm-hmm. The fucking ghost just standing there watching. Like, oh shit, oh fuck.
So we'll do a throwback. What do you rate it 1 to 6?
Why 6?
I used to say when I first started these podcasts, I did 1 to 6 inches.
Oh,
Because, and it sounds like I'm like referencing a dick, but low key, I Googled what's the length of the average American taco, and it was 6 inches.
okay.
So
I mean,
yeah,
I guess.
so 1 to 6.
Oh, for Dead Taco. I give it a solid 4.
I hear you.
4 to 6. 80%.
I think that's a fair assessment. I like that. I would go probably 5 though, just in terms because I feel like it's above most what I consider 4.
I would give everything a 4 until they give me what I was telling you about. I need some characters to have some sort of they look like they're fucking little goats just wandering into shit. Like they need to have some sort of ration or some sort of mind where they actually sit back and like, hey, let's think about this. Let's figure some shit out.
That
Why
is that is the biggest flaw. I think that's centrally the main character. She doesn't have a drive. There's nothing. She was the most reactionary character in the story.
Yeah.
Because the dad, he's just surviving.
Yeah, he's got
The mom,
totally
she's raising her kids, even though we don't really see her raise her kids.
She's
too
just
much.
there to
She's
bitch.
just kind of wallowing.
She's just there to bitch.
Yeah.
Basically, that's her character.
The son, he's helping his dad out, trying to do random shit around.
He's trying to get his approval,
Yes. And the kids, I mean, they're kids. They're just fucking off.
ruining the plot.
But no. So outside of that, though, there were a couple of current events I wanted to talk about.
Yeah, go ahead.
So first and foremost, we talked about a little bit before was the guy with the truck, guy from Colorado, Hispanic.
Oh
dude.
yeah, the truck driver. Yeah.
So his brakes went out. He ignored like a truck passing, I guess, and his brakes went out. So instead of going through the exit ramp or whatever he could have took, he just rammed into some cars. Mm-hmm. And this happened in 2019 in Colorado. Killed like 4 people, injured like 16 or something like that.
Jesus Christ.
But he got sentenced to 110 years in prison.
What were the charges?
Fucking probably manslaughter, bro, and negligence, I would assume.
But if it's something like that, how can they? It's not like he went there and cut his brake.
So, yeah, that's all.
Was he like under the? Was he under the influence or?
Before he was sentenced, he tried his best to avoid the vehicles, stopped on the road, but couldn't avoid them all.
What did he have a public fucking defender? Like what was his lawyer's defense?
During the sentencing, the judge acknowledged that he didn't intend to harm anyone, but under guidelines set by law, his sentence could be no less than 110 years.
Reckless behavior that killed my husband.
Found guilty of reckless behavior that killed a husband.
What was the reckless behavior though? If his brake lines got cut, what the fuck did they expect him to do?
That's what I'm saying. I have no idea. I guess that's part of the controversy.
I mean, listen, there's a lot of ways to interpret this. The legal system has never been kind to minorities, honestly. And we also don't know the complete story. So if he was under the influence or if he was fucking like, we can sit here and fight on both sides. We could make cases for him being innocent. We could make cases for him being... Oh, wait, go back to that fiery semi. I think that was the one that I saw. The fiery semi along 435. Oh, no,
That's in Kansas City.
No, that wasn't it. That was last week.
Oh, no, not what I meant to do. I'm trying to find more information because there's gotta be a reason.
Let me listen to what I'm about to say.
Okay.
Listen to what I'm about to say. I'm gonna give you a really weird scenario. My friend moved to Oklahoma.
Yeah.
She had a going away party.
Going away party.
So it was down in Grandview. No, it was down in Belton. So I go see them. Don't drink anything. I just have like this little lemonade. She's like, hey, okay. It was over like at 9:10. All right, everybody went home. Driving back, take 435 to 69. 69 South meets 35 North, right? You know how it's 5 lanes.
Yes.
Okay. So I cross over. I'm in the middle lane. We're slowly starting to lose one lane. You know, it's flat. It's a little bit of a hill, but it literally just a little bit of a hill, right? I see a semi maybe like 30 feet away. And, you know, I'm just driving home. I'm a little ready to go to bed. I see the semi buck. And then I'm like, what the fuck? And then I just see it slide all the way to the end where the barrier is. Now, mind you, that freeway is very wide when it comes to that median because they built that stupidly and they gave it all this extra space that they could have put an extra lane in, right? So it goes from the middle lane, we were both in the middle lane, all the way to the barrier, crashes into the barrier. I'm like, oh shit, what the fuck? And I'm like, it looked like it hit ice. You know when trucks slip on ice?
Yeah.
It just goes and slides all the way there, crashes. Okay. I'm like, what the fuck? I was like, that's impossible. There's not even ice out. I'm like, it must have. It was like, it can't, if it popped a tire, it doesn't matter. The thing has like 15 fucking tires. So it's not that. It could have pulled over. Mm-hmm. I'm like, it must have, what I was thinking before I got there, a car must have been next to it. It didn't see it. It fucking hit it and it rolled it or whatever. You know what I mean? Yeah. And it just skidded off to the side. So I went back yesterday over the area where it was. There is tire marks in the middle of the fucking freeway that you can see that it clearly skids off over to that side.
Yes.
Okay. I went back and verified that because I was like, I need to know. So remind you of that. When I pulled up to the truck, there was debris of something, it looked like car parts, like car debris all over the freeway. And further up more was the semi. When I get to it, I see the semi on top of this fucking little racer car looking thing. The car's on fire. It's fucked. I'm like, I stop and I'm like, yeah, this guy's fucked. No ifs, ands, or buts. That motherfucker's done. The other guy, I don't know if he got out or not, but there was fire under the truck, the semi. So I'm like, that shit's the fuel line there, or the fuel container. That shit's gonna blow up. I need to get. So I keep driving. There's like fucking a bunch of cars pulling over and shit, and I'm assuming they're calling 911 or whatever. I'm like, I'm gonna go. That guy's fucking barbecue at this point. I'm not gonna bother.
Yeah.
So I just go ahead and head on home. I get home and I look at the news. They were like, the semi hit a car on the side of the freeway and crashed into it. I'm like, that's impossible. I saw the semi in the middle of the freeway swerve over and crash. There's tire tracks on the middle of the freeway. Mm-hmm. That's an impossible narrative. Looked at another fucking newscast. It hit a parked car on the side of the freeway, and then it caused an accident. I'm like, that is not possible. I saw it happen. Mm-hmm. My parents, I sat them down, and I told 4 different people the same story. And then my dad was like, maybe there was a parked car on the freeway. And I was like, okay, that's impossible. Nobody does that. Secondly, there was traffic around us. It was nobody there. It would have seen other cars stopping. It's not a hill. It's a flat part of the freeway. You would be that high up. You would see it with your lights on. That's not possible. If it was to hit the car, it would smash into it, not drag it. Right? And then I was like, I don't know why there would be a reason to lie about this, but there seems to be something that something doesn't feel like the story is nice and tight. It fans out. Something is off here because physically that's not possible. Nobody does that. There was no car on the side of the road because the motherfucker was in the middle of the freeway. Mm-hmm. The accident happened. I saw it all with my own eyes happen. But the report of nobody was injured, nobody died was the news reports 2 days later on the news.
You know what you just explained to me?
What?
Simulation theory.
Yeah.
The Matrix, bro.
Yeah, the fucking Keanu Reeves
Codes,
got it
bro.
again.
The guy fucked around on the laptop, spilled his coffee, manifested a car on the side of the road.
And then he's like, let me just cover this up and putting in some cheat codes.
That's right. Let me just change the newscast real quick.
Okay.
How else do you explain it?
I can't. That's why I'm
exactly.
still. It's been a week or 2 weeks, and I'm still trying to figure it out. It's in the back of my brain. I'm still trying to rationalize what scenario could have played out to make them say that happened the way I saw it, and it to be a tight-knit story for me.
Okay, so let me recap. So you saw the truck veer off to the side of the road. You never saw the car on the side of the road that they're alleging the truck fucking rammed into.
Yes, because it would be impossible for it to hit a car on the side of the road when the semi was in the middle of the freeway and then just hit a hard swerve over to the fucking thing.
Okay, but keep in mind, a semi is how long? 40 feet?
I don't know. Depends on how
30 feet?
Depends on what kind of semi.
It's a long truck.
Yeah.
So while it's swerving in front of you, is it not possible that your view is obstructed to see something further down the road?
It would be if it wasn't a flat part of the freeway. I-35 going towards 75th Street is flat. It's a flat downhill.
I know, but maybe it was far enough that your vantage couldn't even see that far.
I was
down
only
the road.
I wasn't that far behind it though. That's why I got to see everything.
Mm-hmm.
But I just was like, it just happened so fast where it went boom, boom. I was like, what the fuck? And I slowed down at that time to complete stop. And I had people behind me started slowing down. And I was like, did this motherfucker just like roll off to the side of the road like if it was on ice? I was like, that's impossible. There's no ice here.
But so you said you saw the car under the truck.
I saw well, yeah, it was on fucking fire.
So like, how did he hit the car?
I'm telling you, the only logical thing that I can think of is that he was trying to merge over to the next fucking lane, didn't see the car because it was a small little car. It was a little racer car. It wasn't like a big fucking SUV. It was like one of those little racer cars. And it fucking went over, fucking smashed it because it's so low. It probably hopped over it and the fucking car took off.
Yeah. And you're saying the news is saying that the car was like parked there and he just ran it over.
Yeah, like the guy was fucking on the side of the road just looking for cars to hit. Like, I'm like, that's impossible.
So are you questioning the narrative or the physics of how it happened?
I'm not questioning the physics. I saw it happen.
Okay.
I'm questioning the narrative and the reporting.
You think maybe like the driver got in front of the story and his company, like in terms of lawsuits, made some shit up? Then again, why would they say he had a parked car? Yeah, that doesn't make any sense.
Either way, either way he's losing his license. There's no if, ands, or what's about it.
Yeah. Maybe one is like a legal thing. One explanation like makes him more culpable than the other.
Maybe. Could be, but either way, like, it just doesn't make sense if you get what I'm saying. Like,
Yeah,
it's not a big thing. Like, I'm not going to stay up at night and just be in my bed, like, fucking trying to figure it out. But it's just something that I ration about. And I'm like, if this happened like this, what other things has it happened on?
Probably a fuck ton.
But you see what I'm saying, though?
Mm-hmm.
So that kind of can't be like the news is 100% accurate all the time type of thing.
I mean, I feel like you should have that skepticism regardless.
But that reinforced it. You
Yeah.
know, you can't just discredit people being like, oh, they just hate the news. They're fucking ignorant. Like maybe they're onto something.
That's true.
Maybe not to an extent that's crazy, but maybe they're onto something that lazy reporting. There wasn't any news trucks there. I saw it all. They were just sitting on the desk taking people's accounts. You know. And then you don't know what politics is going to play. Maybe that guy's dad was a police officer. He's like, nope, it was good to go. You know, but then how do you cover something up that big? But then it goes into a different thing. It's a rabbit hole.
Yeah, it definitely, like I said, it kind of relates back to what I said about like the dude I worked with. Like I feel like when he didn't like me, it kind of threw the equilibrium off. Like all of a sudden there was balance, and now it's kind of shaky. Mm-hmm. I feel that.
Yeah, it's just something interesting because you're relating to that guy. But that guy, it's either there's more to it that shit than we know, or they were just playing like, listen, this motherfucker ain't going out. His last name was Hernandez, 100 years. You know, it is what it is. You can say that.
Well, what I was getting to that was, do you think that's just?
No.
So, okay, omitting details that we don't know. We don't know if he was under the influence. We don't know if he was speeding.
Yeah, there's a lot of things we don't. Maybe it's justified, but maybe it isn't. Like we're not there. We're not judge or an executioner, so we can't really set the bar. Does it seem excessive? It does seem excessive. We don't know all the facts. Could it be racially motivated? Could be. I don't put it past them. You know what I mean? There's a documented history of minorities, black people, getting extremely harsher sentencing than their white counterparts for the same crime. What?
I don't know. I just wanted to get to this last fucking thing I want to talk about.
Oh, okay.
So in India, bro,
A monkey killed 250 fucking dogs?
there's like a group of monkeys in India that have decided to go on a genocide of dogs.
Why?
Apparently, from this story I read, this was on Yahoo News. This is not just some random fucking.
That's the New York Post. I wouldn't take what they say as accurate reporting.
In a small Indian village, a pack of murderous monkeys have started a war with the local canines. Around 250 dogs have been dragged to the tops of buildings and trees and dropped by a crew of raging primates that are apparently furious with the pups after they killed one of their babies.
Yeah, is there anybody else reporting on this other than the New York Post? You got any other sources?
It was on Yahoo. It's literally the only source I got. I assume anything on Yahoo is Bible.
I would disagree.
It was in the big picture, not just the little like.
I would disagree until you find other resources that are saying the same thing.
And they've done this in a month.
Okay.
Villagers told the outlet the killing started about a month ago when a few dogs killed an infant monkey. And since then, the moment the dog is spotted, monkeys are apparently snatching up the pups and dragging them somewhere high to drop to their deaths. There's a picture of it happening. Matter of fact, screen share. There, you see that monkey's asshole holding a dog? Evidence.
I mean, maybe. I've seen weirder shit.
But no, I just thought that was a weird fucking story, bro. It's begun. Planet of the Apes.
Yeah, that's gonna end real fucking quick too.
I know, dude. We'd fuck up the apes.
Not even that.
What do you mean?
It wouldn't even get that far.
Have you seen like videos of like monkeys holding spears like for fishing?
Yeah, but that's just using a tool. There's animals that use other animals as hunting accessories.
That's true.
So it's not anything crazy.
Listen, bro, it's fucking clickbait. It's eye catcher.
I mean, literally, you could you could take that picture. Like, say there was a picture of a dog and a monkey that lived together, like at a residence,
and you could tell a story where
you could be like, "Oh my god, this dog and this monkey fucking fought in like World War II type of shit."
Or someone's got a video of like the monkey carrying the dog. Like, look, this monkey's trying to show this dog the sights.
Or yeah, you can just like, unless you see other people recording that story, like they could make shit up. Like, this monkey was holding this dog to save it, and you're like, he killed it. Like it's so fucking hard.
So you like refuse to believe that it's a thing?
I don't refuse to believe it. I just am skeptical.
Yeah, see, as me, I'm all in. I've already like started the monkey revolution in my head.
Yeah, in India of all places, though.
It's the most believable place it would happen.
Oh no, they're not even near any jungle.
It's those desert monkeys.
That sounds racist.
It does in context.
Yeah.
But no, I don't know. I just got excited when I saw the title.
Something random.
Because I just like have the image in my head of like these monkeys just like fucking systematically like, yo, this is the tree we're picking. This is the building. This is the mountain.
I don't know, my guy. I mean, it's not impossible, but it's very unlikely that dogs are just like, well, go ahead and grab us.
So you have a very close relationship with your dog.
Yeah, my dog, though, the thing about it is, like, unless there's, like, say there's a pack of dogs, depending on how big the dogs are and what kind of dogs they are, those monkeys ain't getting near them. Like, imagine a fucking pack of huskies.
Yeah, that was something
they would tear that motherfucker in half.
That's what I was telling somebody when I was talking about this.
Like, have you ever seen Steve's dad's dog?
No.
The thing's like a fucking tank.
I know, that's what I was saying. I think maybe, I don't understand, this is other excerpts we don't know. In India, like, I would assume that it's a impoverished country, right? Or are they, like, thriving?
I mean, they're thriving in some things.
They have the caste system, but where it's low, it's really fucking low.
They have a nuclear program.
But what I'm saying is, like, they have people that probably aren't the most healthy. So I would assume that their animals are probably in worse shape. Maybe. So they don't necessarily have these massive fucking...
I mean, if they're that bad, they don't probably even have pets.
I mean, they're there because monkeys are throwing them from buildings.
Supposedly.
Allegedly.
But
on that note, bro, we're going to go ahead and probably wrap this up.
Yeah.
Because it's been about close to 2.5 hours.
That's fine.
So, guys, Gus, thank you for being here first and foremost, man. This was a very fun conversation. Make sure you guys are following all the social media stuff, the Instagram, Death Taco Pod, TikTok, same name. Like the YouTube page, Death Taco Podcast. Twitch is also Death Taco Podcast, all one word. And I also started getting a couple emails from people sending me their songs.
Good.
But it's very sparse. So, guys, once again, I'm reiterating. Send me music on Gmail at deathtacopod@gmail.com. And I'll start a live stream. We'll react to your music live on stream. So just send me a SoundCloud link. Send me a YouTube video of a specific